case I get arrested in the middle of the street.
That's okay. And we start as Janet's talking about getting arrested. Hey, everybody. Of course, we're talking about the movie The Blues Brothers. One of my favorite films of all time from 1980, directed by John Landis with Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi. This is one of Janet's picks. Janet, how are you?
I'm good. I'm ready to beat
You look like
somebody's ass. No,
you look like Kathleen Freeman, but you're ready to beat somebody's ass.
I made my own, I got my own habit I made, and I'm ready. Talk about a great movie that I loved. I even got up and danced. I was dancing and stuff in my living room. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm ready to whip some butt with this.
All right, here we go. There we go. There we go, guys. I know what my,
you gotta do
my viewers
fair.
want.
It's not fair to have me on screen by myself.
Oh, I'm over here.
I know, but you're little.
This is the newscast.
Big.
This is what the people want.
And I'm wearing a cross, people, so don't be naughty.
How many more?
And I am wearing clothes under this, so no imaginations either.
How many more nun fantasies are going to happen, guys? Okay.
But I did make this. I sewed it, and I made the little thing to tie behind my head and everything, and then I sewed this thing to go on my robe. So it was fun. I haven't used my sewing machine in a while, so it was a lot of fun. Hi, Hungar. Hi, Papa Cotton. Hi, Flady. I'm trying to read it because I don't have my phone. I can't type right now. A crafting gamer and 6 Nations, 31 Kings. Hello. The multi-gun man.
Hey, multi-gun man.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I told you I'd dress up as a nun, and I'm sweating my ass off for you.
I'm telling you, that little fan that I showed you, that fan, I put it under here. You can't even hear it.
I can put it under my robes and let it blow.
Wow.
But did any of you guys watch this movie before we're going to talk about it? Because I loved it. I was up dancing and laughing. I forgot how much fun this movie was. Man, it had the most car wrecks of any movie I remember seeing. Well, police cars. It was great. I loved it.
This did set the record back in 1980.
Man, it was, I was just, and you could tell that the cars were real metal cars. They weren't these fiberglass ones when they ram each other and bumpers were flying off and it was pieces and parts, but you could tell when it dented in, it was real metal. It wasn't this fiberglass stuff that you see today. So it was pretty cool. The whole setup of, at the beginning where, they're walking and doing the perp walk where he's leaving, get ready to leave. You don't know if he's going to death row or what's going to happen to him,
That entire first 7 minutes.
I know, to get to his, all his items. I thought that was great too. And they were emptying the box out. That guy that was emptying this box, he was the same guy that I remember from American Werewolf in London, right? The doctor, Mr. Kessler, calm down, that guy. It was the same actor.
I think so.
He sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Mm-hmm. The guy handing him everything. That's Frank Oz.
Yeah, Frank Oz. That's who it was. But I was like, I know this guy. Who is he? Who is he? I remember from American Werewolf in London because it wasn't that long ago I watched that one. So. Well,
this was back during a period where, like, all the directors that they were doing something, they'd ask their director buddies, "Hey, you want to earn a check this week? I got a 30-second piece I need to have somebody read off on script for the camera. You want it?" So yeah, the first 7 minutes of this movie, Papa Cotton's like, "Cannot focus. Y'all talking about something?"
Somebody can't focus.
There is the first 7 minutes of this movie, you don't even see John Belushi's face. The overview flight over Joliet, if you didn't know it was Joliet, you'd think it'd be somewhere in Texas because it's all refineries.
Well, I was thinking it was Alcatraz,
No.
especially when they were looking up and you could see the graded walkway they were walking on in front of all the things, and it was open on the other side. Because I've been to Alcatraz on a tour. One year I went on my birthday. It was really cool.
Now, the budget reported for this movie for Six Nation 31 Kings says budgets and Coke flowing like wine. There was a $30 million budget for this movie. I believe that's the final budget. It was supposed to be a bit lower, but John Landis added cocaine into the budget to help with the night shoot.
No way.
Yeah.
Real cocaine?
Real cocaine.
How can you do that? Isn't that illegal?
You have John Belushi and Carrie Fisher in a movie. You need cocaine. I mean,
that's your imagination. I didn't see any trivia like that.
It's on the actual IMDb page in the trivia.
Oh, I didn't read that. That's the one page I didn't read. I read 3 or 4 other ones. What was the one that was like a famous magazine from back then? It was a rock magazine or something, a rock and roll magazine. It was real famous. Stone? Rolling Stone. I was reading some stuff from that, and I printed out one article about this movie. So,
well, this film had a lot of incidents. There was a lot of cocaine use on this movie, and then there was also some days that happened where they did not film because where'd John Belushi go? And they would be filming, and one of the trivia pieces at night, Dan Aykroyd is getting ready to start the filming to help out because he wrote the script initially. And where's John? John's wandered off. And they're in a neighborhood, and there's only one house with the lights on. So Dan Aykroyd goes up to the house, and the homeowner answers. He says, "I think you're here for John Belushi." And Dan Aykroyd's like, "Why, yes, I am." And he's like, he knocked on the door, asked to come in, asked to be given a drink and a sandwich. And there he is on the couch sleeping.
Well, Chevy Chase did the same thing, right? He would just crash people's homes and things like that. I heard stories about Chevy Chase just showing up, saying, "Here, I heard you having a party," and he'd just go in and just start having a good time with everybody, like it was no big deal. So
I wouldn't doubt that.
They were just different type of people. A few of them, and the original, not primetime players from Saturday Night Live. From what I read about a few of them, they were just laid back and very. Even an interview I saw with Jim Belushi talk about his brother being very just friendly and liked to party and loved living.
Enjoyed that a lot. He the first 6 minutes of the movie or 7 minutes, you don't even see John Belushi's face because they don't have his hat or glasses on. Frank Oz illustrates everything he gets, including their use prophylactic.
Yeah, he's like one unused condom, and then he puts it down. Then he picks up the other one with the pencil. It's all stiff and bent, And he says one used. So that was funny, but it was just really funny. The whole thing,
The entire thing from
the whole way that they did that. I don't know how many times. I would like to know though, how many times they had to walk from the cell, and go through the little motions to get him down there to get his stuff before everybody was cracking up laughing. I bet it was a lot of times.
I think one of the cell guards that's trying to wake up Belushi at the start of the film, while he's in bed, I believe that guy's Jerry Orbach. Before he was famous, that was Jerry Orbach. Jerry Orbach on what was that, CSI or in some cop show. But he was a famous actor later on.
I didn't really look at the two cops. I wish I would have paid a little more attention to the two, but it was just, the whole thing was just, I was just absorbing it because it was like trying to remember how it started, because it'd been a long time since I've watched this. And but as it started going, I was like, oh, I remember this. Oh, I remember that, as it went along. And it was like, oh, I'm going to have to sit and watch this again probably tomorrow, and just enjoy it, because I want to get up and dance to all the songs. God, I forgot how good the music was in this. Even the part where they're in the car and they're going through the mall and stuff.
Yes.
You can't help but I was like, I got to buy this album again. I used to have this. I don't know what happened to it, but oh man, I just loved even the Rawhide song. I loved all of it. It was so
Stand by
good.
your man.
Yeah, that too. I mean, all of it was just, it was just good. I mean, how many movies you get to watch, especially a musical, where the songs are actually sung, and music's actually played by the people in the movie. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was great. I just loved it. It was just phenomenal. I just love John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. I just think they're awesome and phenomenal. And then I didn't realize that Dan Aykroyd was one of the writers of this.
Mm-hmm. His initial draft of the script was
him and Landis, right? Wasn't it him and Landis that wrote it?
Yeah, but his initial draft was over 300 pages, and then he put a Yellow Pages book cover over it to kind of poke fun at it.
Yeah.
Landis, they're like, Landis, do something with this. And so he made 147 or 157 page script after that. It was significantly reduced.
Yeah. Well, you have to. I mean, it's just impossible. But he had a lot of visualizations in it, and visualizations can be, trimmed up a lot to just set up the scenes or whatever. But yeah, it was a lot.
Hungar says, I sing "Stand by Your Man" at karaoke because of this movie. Hungar the Strawberrian says that.
Yeah, I can believe it. I mean, that's another thing. I thought that one scene was really funny. I stopped it a couple times and rewound it. I can't remember what the actor's name played the owner of the bar, but him and his wife, they looked really familiar to me from other movies.
Napier. His last name is Napier. His last name is Napier, I think.
Was he in Dukes of Hazzard or something?
I want to say he was
one of those types of shows. I didn't have time to research all that with all the other things I was telling you about going on. But that whole thing about the country western bar, I have been in so many dives like that in my life. Traveling back and forth between Louisiana and Arkansas and Oklahoma. That's pretty much all you see. I've never really gone to a bar anywhere in Illinois, so I didn't realize that Illinois had so many, country looking.
Around Illinois, if you're not in the downtown of a city, you're going to find honky tonks. Like 10 minutes.
Oh, honky tonk. That's what my mom used to call them. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they are. I mean, that's the only way you can describe it. It's a complete, just country western centric bar, and it's a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun to go to, but if their crowd gets wild and they already have the chicken wire hung up, just expect maybe some new cuts and scrapes by the end of the night. I'm just going to say that. But yeah, that movie, this movie gets going pretty good after the first 7 minutes. It's like, what the hell's going on? Hungar just completely. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Hungar. I echo your sentiment.
What did he say?
Do you have your comments tab open, or are you in private chat?
Yeah, I have it, but
he says, Janet, you just reaffirmed my nun fetish.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I don't know where that's at.
At 1946.
What's 1946?
It's a 746 for 90.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm not military, remember?
Sorry.
Okay, Janet, it was the 80s. Come on. Okay. Well, hey, I'm watching Yellowstone, and there's lots of country western bars in there, and it didn't look like the dive bars that I remembered getting to go to with in these hillbilly areas. So it looked like a hillbilly bar in Illinois. So that's why it threw me off. I wasn't really, I don't know why I didn't remember that, but I just guess I paid too much attention to the band, like when they went in there and they said chicken wire.
Yes.
I just thought that was funny. And I was like, well, because I guess I've never really been in one where they were that rowdy and throw bottles and stuff, but I guess they would in some of these places like that. The one place that I went into a bar, I wasn't old enough. I snuck in with some of my friends, and one of them was Charlotte, and she was a dwarf. She was one of my best friends, and her feet she could wear my pants, but we'd have to cut them off at my knee, and hem them for her. That's how short and little she was, but she was beautiful. She had beautiful long blonde hair, and she talked me into sneaking into this one little Oklahoma bar. So we went in, and we were in there, and we were sitting at one of the tables, and I was drinking a beer, and I didn't even like beer, but I felt, wow, this is cool. And Charlotte had left to go to the ladies' room, and this woman came up to me. And I looked up at her, and she said, "Where's that bitch?" or whatever. And I went, "Huh?" And I looked down, and she had a gun in her hand. And I was like, "Oh my God, this lady's going to kill us." Is what I was thinking. And I'm not even old enough to be in here. I was thinking I was going to die any minute. But that's when some guy came up and grabbed her arm, and he took her off. And I ran to the bathroom and told Charlotte, "We got to get out of here. This woman's going to kill you." And then we were running out the back door to the parking lot, and we were running, and she was in front of me, and we were running in between the vehicles, and then we heard, I heard the gun shot go off, and right at that moment, she hit her forehead on the mirror of a pickup truck and fell back, and I went down to get her, and I heard the air or whatever. I could hear it go over my head. So because she banged her forehead, she kept
probably still alive because of her.
At a bar when I was 16. I wasn't even old enough to go to a bar. So that was a bar that looked like one of them bars, that bar they were in. So that's why I was like, wow, I didn't really know that they had bars like that in Illinois. I thought Illinois was like for hipster, people from the city. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
So, I guess I had Illinois totally pegged wrong, from the bar styles or whatever. Discos.
The cities are shit, but it's not a slight against the people of Illinois that live outside of the cities. And even my friends in the cities of Peoria and Pekin. Pekin's a giant trailer court that's like a 25,000 person trailer court. And they used to have a sign that says no colors on the bridge. So, like, don't let the sun set on your ass. Inward drop. I mean, that was Pekin, Illinois. Then the Route 9 bridge. This is a interesting film because you have all these things around the movie, and the first thing they do is they have the scene where he does the Laurel and Hardy bit where, on the day where I'm released from prison, my own brother picks me up in a police car.
Yep. Yeah, he wasn't happy. And the part where he's sitting, the angle of the camera was really good because it almost like you were in there during the conversation with them. And I just loved it. I was just absorbing in just getting to see them two together. You could tell they were real friends in real life, and they just exude friendship,
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, when he pushed the lighter in and he's got his cigarette, I can remember my mom doing this for miles and miles, using the actual lighter, and they don't even put them in cars anymore, do they?
No, you don't have those. You have to order.
Yeah, I don't remember driving one that has an ashtray and stuff in it, but
I think you can get a USB connection cigarette lighter now.
Well, yeah, mine has a little hole in it, but it pops open. It says AC on it, so you can plug stuff in. But there's no ashtray or anything. But he pushes that in, and then he pulls it out, and you see him put it on a cigarette, and then he takes it, and he just chucks it out the window.
Right out the window.
I just thought that was funny right off the bat. So it was really good because you could tell he was not happy with his brother for picking him up in a police car. And he started asking questions about the car, where he got it, and he starts talking about it. And it was just, I just thought it was funny. It was a really funny conversation for someone who just got out of prison. I thought it was funny. To get to see two people that I just thought was so talented, from Ghostbusters, basically. It's what I really remembered them from. But I love this because of the music in it. And I wanted to watch a musical really bad. But this isn't really a typical musical. This is an actual musical that men would say, I saw the Blues Brothers, and be a guy and still be manly and wanted to watch a kick-ass musical. How many people could say that? I mean, have they ever made another musical that was this kick-ass, that guys would enjoy?
So Repo, the genetic opera Repo.
I've never seen that one.
South Park the movie, bigger, longer, uncut, is the other musical. I have to classify.
Well, that's a cartoon. That's a cartoon. That's totally different. I know, but it's totally different. I'm talking about a real life movie, not Grease. Yeah, Grease was good, but it was a movie more for women, I think. Not really a man's movie.
What about South Pacific? Travis asks for that. He says that was a good.
Yeah, but when did that come out? That didn't come out after Blues Brothers. That was before that, 60s, right? I thought. Yeah, I'm talking about after maybe? Blues Brothers. Beside, Rocky Horror came out before Blues Brothers. Trying to think of some other musicals, but I can't think of any manly musicals that came out. I mean, Sister Act. When I was telling people I was making this, everybody's like, "Are you going to review Sister Act?" And I was like, "No, I'm doing the Blues Brothers."
No, I got to say that South Park is the most manly musical since the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it. That was good too, but I'm talking about a movie, not a cartoon. I'm talking about just with real people.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Was that after the Blues Brothers?
I thought so. It was after. It had to be after 79 at least.
Well, this was 1980, so yeah. I don't know. All I know is I thought it was kick-ass.
You have the Blues Brothers 2000, which I refuse to watch or acknowledge.
I didn't see that one.
I've never seen it. I'll watch it whenever I'm like high on fentanyl. On my deathbed. Or
cocaine. Yeah.
Maybe
in honor of John Belushi.
They're making me watch Blues Brothers 2000. Please let death come swiftly now. I would say heavy metal. The first heavy metal is a pretty good. It's not a musical.
What about the Who? The Tommy? Was it called Tommy? Who? When did that one come out?
Oh, that was 74, wasn't it?
I don't know, but I remember one of my sisters getting to go see that, or sneaking to see it with some friends of hers. One of my oldest sisters, yeah. I don't remember how old she was, but she got in trouble for it because she got grounded. So
Tommy was 1979. There's two movies that I want to mention. You have Heavy Metal, which was like 1981. Then you have its sequel, which was in 1999, Heavy Metal 2 or Fact You or Fact 2 or something like that. But both of those movies have music as part of the intricacy of the movie. Hey, Hungar, I hope you have a good night. Go ahead and watch us tomorrow. We're going to continue this tinted conversation as we go from trivia back to the movie to trivia. Back to the movie.
Sorry. That's how I flow.
That's fine, Jan.
I'm not a pro.
The first part of the movie, though, like he gets in the car and he's complaining about how he's in a cop car, throws his cigarette lighter out, and now he's got his glasses on. There's only one point in the movie where he takes them off.
Yep, and he's all dirty.
But he doesn't take off the hat. Once the hat's on, it stays on. And so they're discussing all this. And so Elwood decides we're gonna punch it, go across this bridge. That ship going underneath the bridge, that's like one of the last voyages it made. That thing was on its last legs.
Yeah.
It's actually detailed on the trivia page for IMDb. The IMDb trivia page for the Blues Brothers is fucking great and amazing.
I wished I'd looked at it, but I didn't. I always think that, that they probably won't have very good stuff on there. At least a few times I've looked, it was like, eh. So I just don't use it. I used to go to Rotten Tomatoes and a few others and just look around.
There's one other movie that's a lot. You have The Wall, which is a drug-induced musical.
Mm-hmm. That's right, Pink Floyd.
Yep. And you have
the Doors. I think the Doors movie came out too. That was after, but I didn't get to watch it. I don't remember getting to watch the whole thing. So, but the one with Queen, about Queen, that came out recently.
Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, it was. I just really loved it. It was really, really good, I thought. But this movie was really good. But yeah, that scene where when he's telling his brother he's got to go see the penguin, that was.
You told her you'd see her when you got out of jail. I did, so I lied.
Yeah, so I lied. Oh,
and so funny. They go and they see the penguin, and there we have you in your lovely outfit. Hungar says, "Janet, that looks horrible. You take it all off right now." Yeah, little hearts and eyes emotes.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
But yeah, it's funny. But he's already left now.
Yeah, I think he's leaving. He needs to sleep. This is his usual bedtime. Man wakes up very early. And the penguin, played by Kathleen Turner. She was, if you watch old movies, she's Jerry Lewis's like sparring partner in most of his movies. Mm-hmm. And she was also in, I guess, the sequel from what her IMDb page says, but she did a lot of Jerry Lewis movies, like 11 of them.
Yeah, my mom loved Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin.
So we have that, and she's got a very stern demeanor. The penguin is, Miss Sister Mary Stigmata is not the woman that you mess around with, much like Janet.
Well, she was dressed like a Mother Superior because she had the white thing that went around her face and everything.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't make mine like that. I wanted mine to be more of just a regular everyday nun. It's not a Mother Superior.
Nun.
So, but I think it turned out pretty good. I was really happy with it. So the thing is that when they went in there to see her, and the door shuts by itself, it's a very like eerie and
close the door.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really, really funny the way they did that. And when they go into her office and she's like, "Have a seat," and they're looking around chairs. I forgot how funny that was.
There are desks for little children. And then they sit where they're at.
Yeah, you see Dan Aykroyd get in one, and really simply, like because he's tall and slim, and then you see John Belushi get in, and he's like wiggling his way in there because of his stomach. I just couldn't help but laugh. I just thought it was so funny. And then they're hobbling over there instead of getting up and dragging the thing over. They move over like two little kids. I just thought it was funny. I mean, I laughed. I thought they were really funny. It was very comedic to me.
I think everybody that watches that scene cracks up because they understand what it's like to be in one of those terrible chairs, one of those terrible desks. And here's this woman, this battle axe of authority, telling them how they're going to behave in her office. And
but when she says she humbles herself in front of them after being their tyrannical boss basically over them when their whole childhood, or most of their childhood. And she knew they had a fear. She had put the fear of God in them basically. And that's what the whole premise was to me by the door closing and, behind them and all that stuff. It was like she was powerful, she had the power of God behind her or whatever, and fear, she had the power of brutality, you know what I'm saying? So that whole scene to me was just hilarious. And when she's telling them, humbling herself and saying, if we don't pay $5,000 in back taxes, they're going to close us down. We're done for. So, and then they said, well, we can go and get you some. I don't want your filthy drug money, criminal money or whatever.
$5,000 is all I need.
Yeah. So, but so she was basically wanting them to help her, even though
legitimately help her, not like go and like grab some dope money, but
legitimately work, struggle to give us what we need so we can stay open. And I thought that was that in a way it was kind of sweet and endearing, because even though they struggled and through their childhood, she was basically their only parent, a person to really take care of them. And Cab Calloway, I guess he was the janitor or whatever for the school.
Yeah, he was the custodian.
Yeah, custodian. And so those were their parents, basically the man and the woman that raised them to be what they were when they grew up. So I just thought that was, that whole scene with her when she ends up beating the crap out of him, breaking the yardstick off over, his head, Elwood's head, and they end up leaving. And that's when we're on a mission from God. Yeah. The whole thing was set up that way. It was just so funny, especially since this whole comedy routine was written as a sketch from Saturday Night Live. And because of who the Blues Brothers were, it became an iconic episode on the show back when the show was good, because I've watched a few episodes here and there through the years, and it just went downhill. It just is not. Anyone that's watching Saturday Night Live, is it even on today? I mean, I don't know, but anyone that's watching it today have no clue what real talent is for a show like Saturday Night Live. Compared to what the people, like the older people from whenever it was. I don't even remember the years.
The first
or the 80s. It was in the 70s, I guess, when it was the original not for primetime players were on there. And I think Mr. Bill started coming out in the 80s or something, the Mr. Bill show. You
mean Little Puppet?
Yeah, the little guy or whatever. Yeah. But then there was a few others they kept adding on there that were pretty funny. So, but they became famous and just left the show. So they had to fill in the gaps. But the writers and everything on there back then were the reason why Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, was it Chevy Chase? I'm trying to think of all the others.
Steve Martin, Bill Murray.
Curtin. Was that one of them?
Yes.
I mean, because the Coneheads, they made a movie called The Coneheads too, didn't they?
1992 or 3.
Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin, and I'm trying to remember what the girl was that played.
That was Winona Ryder.
Okay, yeah. So so many iconic comedy actors came from the original people that started on Saturday Night Live, because there was actually talented people back then and writers that were talented to show the actors the best comedic parts of themselves, like John Candy, and a few others. I can't remember all of them. Steve Martin was on there once or twice as a guest. So they had a lot of good people on it.
More of a SCTV guy, but that's just me.
But the thing is that Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi were just so talented, well-rounded, not just at acting, but also at singing. I mean, they're the reason that put the whole, made it into a real band. We're able
with real
to
albums. I used to have records.
And Dan Aykroyd could actually play the harmonica and stuff like that. So, yeah, I had a friend that was wanting to do this, but he was from England, so I was going to have him. He wanted to know if he could come on the show and play his harmonica, and I really would love him to because he's so talented. But our time difference. Yeah, remember I sent you a message. He's like 6 to 8 hours ahead of us.
Okay, well, if,
So.
if he's in the chat,
I haven't seen him in here. So,
okay.
But if he did, I would definitely would bring him up.
Yeah,
Because he's really, really good. I've heard him play 5 or 6 times, and he's just excellent at it.
After they get done talking to Sister Mary, I almost said Sister Mary Elephant. That's a reference for those of you that listen to Cheech and Chong. You see them in the basement talking to Cab Calloway, who's playing Curtis in this movie. Mm-hmm. This is the final film appearance for Cab Calloway in any film. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until 94 where he passed, but boy, that was a sad day. No, it was before that, I think. But this was the final film appearance of Cab Calloway. And his big claim to fame is talking about or singing about Minnie the Moochie.
Yeah, Minnie the Moocher. Yeah, it was really good. He was so talented. But just getting to see a lot of these iconic jazz, people, blues magicians and stuff. It was just it was so nice because I love blues. I love jazz. I love that type of music. It's very to me it's very just you can't help but want to sing and dance to it. It's just so soothing to the soul. I think it just, I don't know. And you can pretty much listen to it, whether you're happy or you're sad or anything, because it just, you cannot listen to it and not feel better. You know what I mean? It just puts you in a really, to me, a really good mood. It's just a wonderful music. I just love it.
It's this movie has a lot of soul to it, and I mean that on a multiple. That is a double entendre, but there's multiple layers of soul in this movie, and you'll understand that as it really gets going. They talk to Cab Calloway, and he educates him. Then Aykroyd says, "Thank you for showing us into jazz and blues and showing us, music when we were younger, and." And Cab was like, "That's great, but you guys got to do something because we're getting ready to get closed." And so that's pretty much when they decide, like, the only chance for us to do this is to put the band back together. Mm-hmm.
And that's when his brother Elwood pulls out that pack of cigarettes, the cardboard pack, and he's got all this stuff scribbled all over it.
Yeah, it's the last address of these guys. Yeah,
yeah,
and that was kind of funny.
And his brother's mad because he was like, all I asked you to do was to keep track of everybody and blah, blah, blah. And he says, well, what was I supposed to do? Not give you something to, live for, look forward to, basically, which was, true if you think about it. And you have a sibling that's in prison and you just didn't want to make him feel bad, because that's when he said, did any of them even go see you in the pen?
No.
So
those guys weren't the type of guys to write a fucking letter either.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said they're not the kind of guys that would go get all sentimental or whatever else. But it was so cool because as he went through, or they all went through to get everyone back, and you got to get to see little individual personal interaction between the Blues Brothers and the person they're trying to get back to join the band again. It was funny because it really gave you a sense of friendship between them, and that you could tell that they had a little bit of, oh God, they love music though so much, and playing with them and being together, the sense of kinship, because they loved the music so much and performing together, that it was worth the little bit of headache that they knew they were going to get in if they got around Jake. Jake was going to bring them down. But, it was worth it to them to go through with it, even though they knew that probably wasn't a good idea. But you could tell that they seemed like, 3 years earlier, they were all having a great time together.
Well, they also get the information to go over and see the preacher Reverend Cleophas James at Triple Rock Baptist Church, played by the lovely and enigmatic
James Brown.
James Brown, is doing that. All I could think of is that
Such a great job at looking like a Baptist preacher up there with the robes on, and the way the camera angle, looking down at all the parishioners, all sitting and fanning themselves, and it was in the bright colors. Everyone was wearing such bright colors and stuff.
Yes.
It was so authentic to me because I got to go to a couple of really good Baptist churches like that. Growing up with my relatives from Oklahoma and Texas and Arkansas. So I was lucky to get to actually see that, because that actual type of churches is what inspired Elvis Presley and made him love rock and roll and want to sing and perform and learn how to play the guitar and all that stuff. So I think a lot of people, I think Johnny Cash and a few others were even all inspired by that type of music.
I would not doubt that.
Go back.
And the way that Ozzy Osbourne sings like a gospel singer.
Mm-hmm.
All of his inflections, everything, he comes off like he's like screaming, Amazing Grace or something. I know that you're going to make fun of me for that, but he sounds very gospel-ish.
Uh-huh. I think so. I think you can definitely tell, even though some of his music is very, people would say, oh, it's satanic or whatever, but he's very gifted. He's just amazingly talented when it comes to his music and stuff. And it's a lot of people just don't, they still don't sit back and actually listen to the person and watch them perform. Especially, that's what's the difference between seeing them in a music video or just hearing them sing one song that's on the radio compared to watching them live in a concert. It's just the raw talent that you get to witness when you get to go see some of these people when they perform. It's just awesome.
And don't forget that during this scene with James Brown, they had put a call out for the actors in the community, like, come and be with us. We're going to have a set. Please come if you have a background in gymnastics.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were doing all sorts of things with a trampoline off scene, but you got to see that with all the guys reaching the heights of the second story.
Uh-huh.
They're in the middle of the throes of getting their tongues.
Have you ever gotten to go to a black
church,
Baptist church like that?
Yeah,
I mean, it's really like that. Well, I'm not talking about the gymnastic jumping, but the entertainment of the singing and the way that they're all like, putting their hands up and praising God and just sharing their feelings and their joy for Jesus and God. And it's just so inspiring, how anyone can leave any of those churches and say, oh, I fell asleep during the sermon. You don't.
Never hear people say
so
I fell asleep
exciting
during the sermon.
And energizing. So when you leave, you're like, let's go. We're going to go out and we're going to go door to door, that's how you felt when you left, because it was so inspiring. I loved it. I wanted to go to church when there was a good church like that.
After they leave the church with Shaka Khan and James Brown, funny fact, James Brown got separated from the driving caravan. He's driving a Bluesmobile. And he goes out of his way, miles away, with the Bluesmobile, and he ends up in Spring Valley, Illinois, where he gets pulled over and detained. And he's trying to get in touch with somebody, and he finally gets a hold of the assistant director, and the AD is pissed because he got separated. How do we get the car back? They're more concerned about getting the damn car back than Mr. James Brown. Okay. Now, they weren't, there was not a real problem on set because of this. It was just that they're moving stuff and James Brown's there, giving extra days pay to help with logistics.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that you usually see in terms of like moving a set or whenever you're doing something. If you've got a background in logistics, do you have a driver's license? You're suddenly more than just an actor or gaffer or doing whatever else.
Yeah.
After all this is done, we're packing everything up, and you're going to help us drive that vehicle, and then we might round trip and pick up another vehicle to take over here. So after they have the I feel good moment at the Baptist church, that happened in real life. And in the movie, you find out that this is Jake and Elwood head over to this transients welcome men's hotel, and it's not really
Yeah.
it's my bedroom. It's like the bedroom I'm in right now, but it's a full apartment with a stovetop, a part of a refrigerator, not a full refrigerator, a single bed, twin bed,
Mm-hmm.
and a chair.
Or two chairs, because there was, depending on what angle they had a chair over near where Elwood was, where he sat down next to his brother while he was asleep on the bed, and then there was another little like stool over by the little hot plate in the refrigerator in the window. But before they went in there, okay, they were out in the street, and that's when Carrie Fisher appears with her weapon to take them out.
And through the magic of movie magic, Carrie Fisher fires 5 rockets from a 4-barrel rocket launcher. Where has she got a 4-barrel rocket launcher that fires 5 rockets?
It came from her brain because she was so pissed and wanted him dead.
We don't find out about that until later.
Yeah, but you see who it is. You see that it's Carrie Fisher, but you don't know why she wants him dead. But boy, she's out to kill him.
Yeah, she tries. God,
but it's funny that when every time that that happens and everything's collapsing, you see the bricks and stuff tumbling down from the doorway and the doors falling apart and everything, and they just stand up and dust themselves off like that happens to them every day or something. That's what's funny about it. It's the way they react to all this tragedy and explosions and bullets going off, and they just act like, it's Chicago. It's normal.
They're not in the real world. They're in some sort of twisted version of reality where they can have a collapsed building all around them, and they get up, dust themselves off, move the brick off my knee, and help me up, and then they just get going. It's time to start our day.
And that's why it was so funny. Is like. It was like, to them, it was reality. It was their reality that this is how we live in Chicago. It's a normal, people try to kill us all the time, this type of thing. And that's why it was so funny to me. It was like a woman sitting in a car, very attractive woman sitting in a car, and she's shooting rockets at somebody on the street, and nobody flinches an eye, no one bats an eye. Even when the police later show up and the door's all blown off and everything, and then when they go up and they go John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd go in, you see the smoke billowing out of the hallway into the room, and everybody's sitting in there playing cards and dominoes and stuff. They don't even give a crap. It's just, I just thought that was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing.
That's amazing that happens. And I think it's one of the best parts of the film, because that's where you realize this is not reality.
Yeah, it's definitely not real.
The last thing that happened before they retired, they were getting pulled over by the cops, and the Elwood's like, I hope they don't have SCMOTs.
Yeah.
And SCMOTs is this little laptop that they have in the cop car, state, county, municipal, something, and it pretty much says you have 36 moving violations on a suspended license, 117 moving violations, and you're driving on a suspended license, impound a vehicle, arrest now. And so they floor it, and they drive through the Dixieland Mall. Kronos, I went to school to be a cop. Because I'm white, I'm not a cop. There are too many white people hired that year, had to be put on hold.
Were you raised in Illinois?
Sadly, about middle of the state, nowhere near Chicago, 3 to 4 hours away. between Decatur and Springfield. So they drive through the Dixieland Mall, which is one of the weirdest chase scenes ever filmed, which is one of my favorites. But they had the Dixieland Mall available. In '78 it closed, and so they set up to do this chase in it, but they didn't really discuss what was going to happen and how it was going to be left after the chase was filmed. So they have that amazing chase sequence where you have John Landis, the director, at the very end of that chase. He's like, "I broke my watch." There's like 3 instances in this movie where somebody says, "I broke my watch," by the way.
Yeah, but it's funny is that they're spinning around in the parking lot with the cops, like Keystone Cops, type of thing, because it's so stupid.
Drifting is Caprice classic.
Yeah, they're getting chased, and then Elwood says to his brother's like, "We need to get us out of this parking lot." And he goes, "You want out of this parking lot? Okay." Yeah. And that's what he
right for the building.
Just goes right through the glass, the big glass window with mannequins and everything in it. And I just thought that was funny. It's because Elwood was so simple. He was so everything he said was short. It was a short sentence and replies. And Elwood did all the, he did all the talking, and not Elwood, but Jake did all the gabbing. Making up whatever elaborate story he needed to cover his tracks. And Elwood just said, "Okay." It was like
very pragmatic man, that Elwood.
Which was adorable for their characters, which I really liked. But yeah, that mall scene was hilarious. And there was a lot of people in that mall. I mean, running and jumping out of the way.
Well, keep in mind, the first time they filmed it at full speed, with the drivers going through there. And the second time they'd choreograph with the stunt players on the ground, and that way it would look like the mall was alive when they put all the material together in a spliced footage.
Because you saw big groups of people. As soon as the cars went past, they all come running out looking like, what's going on, So they added a lot of people after the cars went away, and I'm sure that was because for safety purposes, not to hurt all the people or get anyone hurt.
This ball's got everything.
Yeah. That was funny.
The Orange Julius is actually a shout out in the movie because the CEO of Orange Julius was like, they gave him like $5,000. Oh, by the way, most of this movie was mafia assisted. I
believe that. I believe that for sure.
Well, I'm sure they help with the cocaine at least.
Yeah. And the alcohol.
Yeah. Well, they drive through this mall at top speed, and you get to see all these really cool car shenanigans, and that's where you get to see the physics be put on display. This movie has fun physics. I don't really know if you think that is the first instance, or you were thinking it was the bridge. The bridge scene at the start of the film when the Blues Brothers magically coast across the drawbridge, which that could be considered their introduction to welcome to our world. This is how we deal with slow traffic here. Yeah,
they just go around it. It was amazing because every time I've ever been to a big city, in New York or Chicago, when you drive through it and stuff like that, it's just so packed with traffic. It's bumper to bumper traffic. So to see all these streets with hardly any vehicles on it, I thought was pretty amazing, except for police cars. I mean, whenever there was a chase scene or whatever, there was like more police cars than I've ever seen anywhere. There were just hundreds of police cars in this movie.
Carrie Fisher nukes their hotel room, and then the following morning they get up and they're on their way out. And then John Candy, who's supposed to be their parole agent or probation agent, he's helping the cops that have sworn, "I'm going to get that sucker."
Oh, I thought he was a detective.
No, he's not a detective. He's a parole officer.
Okay.
And
the jacket he was wearing, oh my God, it was the worst, ugliest jacket. I just couldn't get past that. I
can't believe you're upset about the jacket. I love that
jacket. I couldn't believe how bad that jacket was. It was so gaudy.
How did we make any millennials? Because the 70s, the late 70s was like disco and really bad music up until Metallica came. No, wait, until Diamond Head came out. I gotta say that you had a little bit of Sabbath, but how did they get interested in fucking? Because I look at people's outfits in the 70s, from the inflatable clothing to the bell bottoms and other gaudy stuff. That jacket that John Candy had on,
And it looked
actually
like
respectable.
everything was made out of polyester, you know.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
don't think I saw one pair of blue jeans. Oh, yeah, I did. I saw a couple of pairs of blue jeans in the country western scene, because even the
yes,
guys, the good old boys, when they got out of the RV, they were all wearing polyester shirts and pants and stuff. It looked like I never saw so much polyester. But it's funny because I remember seeing it when I was younger, and I don't remember noticing these things. All I was just enjoying the music and the iconic people that were in it and all that, but I don't remember I was just shocked. I was like, how are they standing being in that? It must be like, like stiffness, this really stiff outfits.
yeah.
It just looked very uncomfortable to me. And the colors that they chose for John Candy, because a big person shouldn't wear plaid and things like that because it makes you look bigger, right? So it made John Candy look ginormous to me. I just didn't remember him being so ginormous. It's
See, I,
ginormous.
I recently watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and by the way, that's a sad movie. Um, they whenever it's time for him to humble himself, and
Scotch and cocaine.
yes, the people that were fucking in the
Did you
70s
read
was
that?
only doing
Did
that
you read
because of
his
Scotch
chat?
and cocaine.
That cracked me up.
I did not have any
Sorry.
sex in the 70s.
And
They're
everything
trying
in
to
the
see what
80s was
movie we should.
highly flammable.
Yeah.
Bone posted that. I'm sorry. I'm actually getting to see looking at some of the chat.
This is ever since I showed Janet a neat trick on here last week, she is loving the streams because she can watch the chat now.
Because I'm not having to look at my phone all the time. I'm actually able to figure out I can read it right here on this
On the screen.
on the
It's a live review.
that I didn't realize. I knew there was a private chat, but I didn't realize I could read what you guys are writing. It's really nice. I really enjoyed it because Bruce has helped me out so much by teaching me a little bit about how to use this this app. So I'm thankful. But yeah, it's funny. You guys are funny. You guys are really, really talented.
I love my people. This is my tribe. These guys are awesome.
They are, and they're funny as heck. You guys are great. And it's nice. I mean, I read a lot of the chats before, but it was always on my tiny screen on my phone, and getting to see you guys do it on here has been really fun.
Sweet. They crashed the Dixieland Mall, and then whenever the Dixieland Mall people came back after filming was done, they were like, "What the hell, John Landis?" Because like everything was left a wreck, and so they had to kind of rectify that. And I'm sure that did get rectified because there was already some external help going on in the creation of this film, and I don't want to talk too much about the stuff going on the side, but there is a lot of things that were going on in the creation of this film. Hey, you get back here.
What is it?
No, I was like, no. We have you on the big screen for once because.
I know. I had to blow my nose. I'm sorry. My allergies are really, really bad.
It's okay. I just my people were like, make Janet big. We don't want to see you painting. You can be
sorry, guys.
I
have it's spring and allergies are terrible. My eyes are watery, and my nose is running. So
I know it's your deepest desire to move to San Antonio, but don't.
I need to live in the desert. That's where I need to live.
Worse. You need to live in Phoenix or Utah.
He's doing cocaine. Yeah. Hey, I might be pretty happy if I did. might dry my sinuses out a little.
So they the next day after they get out of the bad building that's been blown apart by the mystery woman.
Well, they
She
fell
does have a
through the
name.
bottom, didn't they?
They
They
collapsed
the whole
down
building,
level.
because she had a big thing in her lap, and it had like dials and switches on it, like a remote control for a big truck, a monster truck.
I thought she. Oh yeah, she does detonate the bomb first.
Well,
That's right.
she did the thing when they were going in with the giant rockets,
Yes.
and she knew he wasn't dead apparently. So when they went there, and you see him standing outside the door, right, and you could see John Belushi laying in the little bed through the window, and then all of a sudden you see her fiddling in her car with this little thing with a big antenna. It
looks like a radio control airplane.
Yeah. Or a big giant monster truck. I've seen them where they've done those.
It had a dual stick on it,
Yeah, it was pretty big. And then next thing you know, it's this huge explosion. So, and then you see the smoke clearing, and you see the bed going down right when the cops are walking in, because you see the cop, and then you see John Belushi like falling on top of him with the bed, going down. So, and then a little bit later, you hear all the rustling of bricks, that sound. And then you see them standing up, and they're like dusting themselves off again.
All right, time to go to work.
Get up and walk off. And but they don't say anything about, hey, someone just tried to blow the shit out of us.
No.
They don't even mention it. It's like it's nothing. That's funny. That comedy was hilarious, because they're just nonchalant, like, oh, everybody tries to kill you in Chicago or something. I was laughing my butt off. It was so funny, because I had forgotten how funny some of that stuff was. And then they just go on like it's no big deal. Let's go and find somebody else in the band. It was great.
And then you find out Elwood's got the names on this like inside folded cigarette, and he's like got everything scratched.
Marlboro Reds.
It's faded from use.
Yeah,
looks like it's been in his pocket for the past 30 years, maybe 3 years.
Yeah, it's all worn out. So and it tore on the lines so that he could open it up and use it as a notepad to write inside of it. And in a way, that's kind of smart, because if it was a napkin from a bar or whatever, it would start to, fade out and everything. But writing it on cardboard, I thought was pretty smart. It was a very smart thing to write on the inside of a pack of cigarettes. I thought it was interesting. Are you still there?
I'm still there. I just had
okay. I thought maybe your mic went out or something.
No.
But I just thought that was really good. And then they went on to the. Is that when they went to the restaurant?
They first go to talk to Mrs. Garza at the old address.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
They have the dragnet scene, and the entire time Jake is just like acting completely dragnet. Yeah,
I thought that was funny, because they'd just gotten blown up, basically, and they looked super clean and tidy, and they seemed like their ties were straight and everything, and they're standing in the living room, and she's looking up at them because wanting to not knowing what he had done or whatever it was, because she thought they were police officers or some type of FBI or something like that. The Men in Black, the original Men in Black, and I just thought they were adorable. I just love that. What a great costumes, to wear. If you had a tall friend and a short friend to go side by side to a costume party, what great costumes, And then the women could dress up as nuns or as Carrie Fisher's character.
Oh my God.
That would be such a great costume set. Everyone would know who you were. Now everybody would call you Men in Black, because that's basically where they got that iconic look, I think, because that was the Blues Brothers.
They go to this hotel where Murph is with Murph and the Magic Tones, And it's like the most sad sack hotel cantina in existence. And Jake asks him after hearing everybody say, "Look at you, you're in the same shit you were wearing on the day you got busted." And Jake's like, "We're putting the band back together." And they rebuff him. He's like, "Have any one of you played a gig as good as what the Blues Brothers did?"
Yeah.
And that pretty much like sells it right there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Jake, we can't trust you." And so Elwood's like, "Now you guys know that he was in the pin because he was trying to cover for all of you, right?" And that's the story they stick with throughout the entire film, which I always find funny.
That he took the dive for them, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to prison for them. So I thought that was really funny, because we don't know whether it was true or not. I'm pretty sure it wasn't true, but that's what he told them.
So,
well, it could be true because Elwood seemed kind of honest. He seemed like the one that was more honest.
yes.
Now, if Jake had said it, then I probably would have believed that it wasn't the truth, that it was.
Let's also remember Elwood was the one that had the briefcase with everything ever needed, including at the hotel when he walks in. Cheese Whiz turns to him, and the guy playing Cheese Whiz is a lifelong makeup and special effects prosthetics guy. And he looks over at Elwood. "You get my Cheese Whiz, boy?" And just out of nowhere,
his pocket,
throws it at him from.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. And that's when I said that's when the smoke was billowing out of the door.
Yeah.
From the explosion. I thought that was funny. That was a really funny scene that nobody reacted. Everybody just sitting there. The guy watching TV behind the glass is like, no big deal. Nobody cared. That's what was funny, because the bullets are going off, all kinds of stuff's blowing up, and everybody just like, it's no big deal. I just thought that was so funny.
They go see Mr. Wonderful after they recruit Merv and the Magic Tones. Mm-hmm. And he's a maitre d' at an expensive restaurant. And his second is Paul Rubens. Paul Rubens with a wine.
Yeah, that was funny. I went, it's Pee Wee Herman.
Yes.
The wine guy is Pee Wee Herman. I just thought that was hilarious. And he looked so skinny. I mean, I didn't think he was that, when he was
in high school in this movie or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just remember him in his own movie when they did, what was it? Something Top?
The Big Adventure? The Big Top.
Yeah, Pee Wee's Big Top Adventure or something like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't think he was that tiny. I mean, this guy was like a prince tiny, yes. A little bitty guy. But I was like, it's Pee Wee. I just couldn't believe it when he was asking him what kind of wine he wanted or whatever. But the other guy, he looked really familiar. I'd seen him in other stuff. The maitre d' that played the maitre d'.
Yes.
But that one line that was funny. It was when they were eating and they were being pigs, and like as a performing seal going, grabbing the shrimp and stuff when his brother was throwing it at him. I just thought it was hilarious.
And they lock arms.
Cocktails.
There's a young girl at the next table over who is
laughing at them because she thought they were so funny. And then Jake leans in and says, "How much for the girls? For the little girls?" He goes,
"How much for the girls? How much for the little one?
I want to buy your women. Sell me your children." He's saying to him. I just thought it was so funny because he was doing all of it to just get the guy to quit or to get him fired so that he would have to come and join the band as well. And he was thinking of everything he could that was just obnoxious enough to get him in trouble, I thought it was funny.
It's a brilliant tactic to get somebody to stop doing what they're doing and join your crusade, which is what it was. They go get Mr. Wonderful and
sorry, my nose is just running so bad.
They got a road through Jackson Park. It's blocked by an American Nazi Party demonstration on the bridge.
Yeah, that was so funny. And the actor that played the lead Nazi guy, I was like watching. I was like, gosh, that guy looks familiar. Was he on Laugh-In?
I think
'Cause
so.
my mom loved Laugh-In, and he would wear that little German hat, and he'd be hiding behind bushes and stuff. I don't remember what he did. I just remember bits and pieces here and there, because my mom loved that show, and I think it was that actor that was in Laugh-In, because that's what I remembered him from, and he was playing a Nazi, and I thought, oh my God, they could not do this movie. They could not make this movie today. It was just too many, uh, you know, bad things were in it. That there's just no way they would let them get away with it with this script, with the exact same script that would never make it.
It's perfect. And it's fine with that. I mean, I love this. You have they get Steve Cropper, Donald Duck Dunn, Murphy Dune, Willie Too Big Hall, and Tom Malone to join him as Murphy and the Magic Tones.
Yeah.
Then they grab I can't remember that guy's name. Damn it.
Guitar Murphy. And his wife is Aretha Franklin, or his girlfriend.
Yes.
That was an awesome scene, and I had to stand up and dance to that one because it was just a really iconic song. The music, you can't help but just you just want to get up and dance to it. It was so good. And that whole thing to getting her in there to dance around and do that, and then have all the people from the diner, stand up and start dancing to the music, the women against the men type thing. I thought it was really good. And the young man that was in the kitchen behind him, his hair was really, really long, and he had it in a hairnet, and he
talking about
pulls out the saxophone, and he runs out there and he's playing the saxophone, walking back and forth on the bar. I don't know who he was, but
That's
was
Blue Marini.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, he was. The saxophone was just great. I mean, the music was just freaking awesome.
Lulu and Guitar Murphy were amazing in this film.
Yeah, all of them were good.
Mr. Fabulous is played by Alan Rubin. He was a maitre d' at the Chez Paul restaurant. Alan Rubin is an amazing trumpet horn master.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Henry Gibson, he's the head Nazi.
Henry Gibson, American. That's it. Was he on Laugh-In?
I believe so.
Oh, he was. I saw his face and his smile. I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot about him."
Yeah, he's on Laugh-In.
He was so funny.
71. The voice for protagonist Wilbur in the 1973 animated film Charlotte's Web. He was Wilbur in Charlotte's Web. Just remember that.
Okay, and the Nazi that was with him that was wearing the bad polyester suit.
Yes.
Because the other guy, what was his name again? From Laugh-In guy?
Henry Gibson.
Henry Gibson. He was wearing an actual Nazi uniform. It was horrible. I mean, it was just horrible. But just to see the way that they interacted and the vehicles that they had them driving were like Pintos or something. The whole thing was so degrading. But it was, I mean, they deserve it. I mean, because they're Nazis. But what you hear so much today and all the rhetoric about you're a Nazi, they've made it such a meaningless word now compared to what it meant when they made this movie. You know what I mean? Because back when they made this movie and the way they portrayed them, they were white, racist Nazis, basically. And they're up there doing their whole speech, with all the people yelling and screaming across the way from them. And the cops are all fighting the crowd to keep them away from it, to protect them, because that's their right to be able to be out there and say all these horrible, hateful things because of freedom of speech, basically. So, it was kind of.
We would get canceled if we played that speach that he says.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh my God.
You would lose your channel if you played that speech on because I had the DVD of the Blues Brothers DVD.
Do you have the extended scene, the extended version, or the regular?
I'd have to go get the box. It's in the other room.
Okay.
I watched it in there on the big TV because it's a big television. But I mean, it was just, I was just shocked. Some of the stuff that was said in some of these, but that's why after that speech and everything, and then you see them all waiting in line, and they're in their little police car waiting, and they're just like, what's the holdup? And that's when they said, oh, it's the Nazis. That's when he said, basically they said, F the
Fucking hate Illinois Nazis.
yeah, we hate Illinois Nazis. And then they just drive.
They just drive to the bridge again.
And they all leap off into the water. And then you see the crowd of people all like cheering, yay! They all running over to see the Nazis in the water swimming. And then the car goes over, and that's when the lead Nazi goes, get their license plate. I want them to die, or whatever it is. See, you can't even do that hardly anymore. You can't even any kind of.
That's a threat. Oh my God, it's a threat.
Yeah, somebody saying that, go off yourself or whatever. I mean, all the language and everything. I loved it. I thought it was really good. It's like we have dropped so far from where we used to really have freedom of speech to where we have no speech. Basically, even though we supposedly still have freedom of speech, you don't. If you just listen to, what was his name? That stand-up comedian that was really, really obnoxious.
George Carlin?
No, he was young and he had dark hair and he was like a greaser. He dressed like a greaser.
You're talking about Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay. He would never be able to get a job today as a comedian. With some of the things that he would say. Huh?
I don't know if you understand this or not. He can't get a job now. He has to go to Branson, Missouri and beg for people to come to see his sets. Because
you just can't joke or tell it, I was surprised when I got to hear some of the stuff that the what was it, the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, some of the stuff they would say, or Ron White. I don't know how, or that guy Tosh Pinoy guy. I love him. He's so funny, but I don't know how he gets away with some of the stuff he says.
Well, the thing is, it has to be funny, and your tribe has to be able to laugh at it and say, well, this is comedy. And you don't worry
even
about
Eddie Murphy. The stuff that Eddie Murphy used to say, you can't say it anymore. I don't know how any comedian makes a living anymore. They really can't really say anything.
They really don't. The 2024 will be the voting year where the conservatives could run with, hey, we got the jokes. And it would be the truth.
It's just really sad. But I laughed and laughed because it was almost like culture shock to me, laughing at some of the comedy that was in this, because I'm like, you just don't get to hear it.
Were you looking around kind of worried somebody be offended if you laughed? That's good comedy. When you know that I'm going to laugh at this, I better make sure nobody else finds this offensive.
Yeah, because if you tried to play that, I can't even think of. There's a few theaters now that are trying to make money by letting you bring your DVDs, and you get to sit in the theater and watch your DVD played for you in a theater, basically, and you can bring, invite people and stuff to watch it, and I think it's great. But the thing is, I wonder if they would say, well, we're not allowed to play this movie for you because it's racist or whatever,
Well, it's kind of funny. We have I got to talk topically for a second, guys. I know we all want to hear, we want to hear people talk about this movie, but you've got this lady, this schlub. This lady is such a fucking failure. Alyssa Heinerschneid, Bud Lights, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light.
That's not a woman.
Marketing.
That's not even a woman.
I don't think she's a woman, because have you seen this? It looks like Leah fucking Thompson. She looks like a fucking transgender swimmer. Can you see this?
Oh, that's that one. I haven't seen it. I thought you were talking about the one from the Bud Light commercials.
Well, no. The Bud Light commercial is all this twat's idea.
Oh.
This fucking flag right here.
So she sold her own vajayjay downriver for a PP.
Yeah. This lady wants to shove this Dylan on everybody as this is normal. We want to go for these people as our audience. And all over cat turd social media, kids, get rid of your social media accounts. Bruce is going to give you the hookup. Don't have social media. just follow Cat Turd.
Mhm.
If you follow Cat Turd, you got your fucking fingers on the pulse of the American MAGA movement. I guarantee you.
Oh, tell you, yeah, it's bad. That whole thing. I posted a bunch of stuff on Twitter. Uh, I've got McDonald, the rapper, and then I've got Kid Rock, two of them going off about the Bud Light. Oh man, I'm telling you, that had to have hurt them in the pocketbook big time.
Did you see their stock reports? There are some out there. They're saying, "Oh, look, their stocks are up," and you clear the filter, then look at it again, and they dropped a whole 2%.
Yeah, they should, and I hope they keep dropping.
2%. Just wait 5 or 6 weeks when the fucking cases are stacking up at your local convenience store, and they're giving it away to the homeless people.
Giving it away. They can't even give it away to homeless shelter. You know what I mean? That's going to be pretty bad. But the thing is, I don't understand. I mean, I'm not going to run out. Okay. And I'm a fanatic. I'm always working out. I mean, almost every other day I go to the gym and I wear sports bras and I wear leggings and, sweatshirts and all kinds of stuff like that. Because I'm an advocate for health. I mean, I think people should work out. And I'm not one of those ones that wear thongs and, have my makeup all perfect and my hair perfect to go to the gym. I go and I leave. When I come back home, I'm like, you don't want to see me. I'm just sweaty and dirty looking.
When you go on your romantic cruise, I'm going to email somebody a video of you with that, trying to get your makeup on. And it's like
I can send you some blackmail pictures if you want. You can see what I look like when I'm scrubbing my face and my little scrubby and stuff like that. But the thing is that why would I want to run out and buy a sports bra because a man is modeling it for me? Well, I mean, why do they think a woman like me is going to go buy a sports bra because that guy's wearing it? I mean, I just don't. That doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm a consumer, as a consumer and a woman, I'm not going to go buy a bra that a man is wearing. It just doesn't appeal to me to go make me want out and spend money on it.
So
I don't know how I just think it's ridiculous. I think the whole thing is just it's like a skit from Saturday Night Live. It's not real life. It's like,
no,
doesn't make
you're in clown world. That's just remember clown world.
We're talking about Saturday Night Live because of our actors, and this is a real life Saturday Night Live skit. But I just don't get it. I don't see how they think that any of that is advertising for the better. I just don't. It just goes right over my head. I don't get it, but well, that's
so they
clown
go
world.
Pick up Blue Lou and Guitar Murph at the soul food restaurant. Aretha Franklin, in her film debut, sings a song "Think."
Yes,
One
awesome.
of the best girl power songs ever, by the way. If you've got a young daughter or niece that needs to get her head straight, you pop her down in front of this song here and let her hear that, because a lot of young girls get their heads bent up over like some young boy, some stupid boy, and you let them listen to some music that's going to clear their head. This is one of those songs. And Murph ends up like thrown in the apron and like, I'm going to go on the road with my boys, with my bros. And they leave. Well, they end up.
But I just thought it was cute when they showed through the doorway and she goes into the kitchen and he's cooking, on the grill, and the other guy's washing dishes and stuff with his little hairnet on. And you see her say, there's two white guys out here.
There's two white honkies out there.
Honkies. And one of them wants a piece of bread or toast.
Dry white toast.
Yeah, dry white toast with nothing on it. And the other one wants 5 fried chickens.
4.
Four fried chickens. And then he goes, Jake in Elwood. He runs out there. So apparently, and he was excited to see him. So you could tell that he was at the point in his life where he was tired of the humdrum every single day, working and sweating at a regular job. and that he was ready for a change. So I just thought that whole thing was the build up to it, and then getting her to get to sing and dance with all the other girls, backup singers and stuff. I thought that was a really good scene for her. I thought she did a great job. And then she says, "Well, damn it," or whatever, when she when she realizes he left. So that was bad. But the scene before that, who was that was singing in the street? And then
that's John Lee Hooker singing "Boom, Boom,
Oh,
Boom, Boom." Yeah.
yeah,
Now, in the
that was
extended
really
section, the extended movie of this, after that scene,
great.
there's an argument. There's an argument about who wrote the lyrics going on, and in the extended version, that argument turns into a fisticuffs.
Well, I didn't see the fisticuffs, so that I don't have the extended version then. But yeah, they did argue about, so and so wrote that song or something like that. It wasn't you, it was so and so. Yeah, the little argument after that. So I wonder why they put that in there. You know what I mean?
I have no idea, but I found that to be kind of interesting food trivia for this movie. Soy-based Jeremy says, "Did you see Trump at UFC?" Okay, here's the Chad photo of 2023, guys. You got Mike Tyson, Kid Rock, Grandpa Rock. You got Don Trump and fucking Dana White, who looks like Joe Rogan, by the way.
Yeah, I thought it was Joe Rogan when I saw it go by on my Twitter feed, but it wasn't.
Nope, that's the
because I was like, Joe Rogan likes Bernie, so I was like, oh.
Joe Rogan likes UFC though.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the 90s. Yeah,
I really thought I liked Joe Rogan because I love cage fighting and stuff. I think it's very exciting, and I know that he was like into that, promoting it and stuff like that. And then when I found out he came out for Bernie, I was like, what a loser. I'm sorry. I just can't look up to somebody that would think that a person that hangs out with communists, that wants communism for America. But see, it's like I said, the elites that have money and that can buy beef and buy whatever they want. And just like I've said before, when you have somebody that makes $300 million a year, okay, and the government takes 50%, that's $150 million a year that you still get to keep and spend. Does that mean your lifestyle is going to change at all? $150 million a year, that's a lot of money. Your lifestyle is not going to change. You're still going to have servants. You're still going to have a private plane. You're still going to have all your houses. You're still going to eat steak. You're still going to have seafood and go on your vacation. But when you make $100,000 a year and half your money's taken from you, you're making $50,000, between $100,000 and $50,000, a huge change in your lifestyle, especially when gas is $6 a gallon, things like that. So, those people like that can say, oh, Bernie Sanders, we need to feel the burn. With a man that didn't even have a job and he was 40 years old, he's never had a job, by the time he was 40. That is not somebody I would be listening to. So I don't even watch him anymore after I found out about that. I quit watching any of his shows. So.
Steven Crowder's on Rumble now anyway. You need to watch Steven Crowder.
And he's doing really good.
He's got 2 million views a day.
Yeah, I know.
During his live stream.
But and YouTube lost them because they were dumbasses. Yep. And I shouldn't say that because we're on YouTube, but
so they go to Ray's Music Exchange in Calumet City, and they.
Oh yeah, this is when they get to meet Ray Charles, and he's selling them instruments.
Yeah, and Merv is trying to sell back some like velvety soft speaker for the price, and Ray's like, I gotta rebuy it, $350, no problem. I bought them for $800. Depreciation, I guess.
Yeah, because he said he paid $800 for them, and that's when he said, but that's just oh well. And then he's looking at that organ, and they're like, how much for this organ? And he goes, it's in pretty bad shape. And he goes, it looks pretty good to me. And then he shuts the little screen down and he walks around and goes and pushes the guy out of the way, because he's blind. So the whole way that they got him to sit down at the organ was really, really funny. And you could tell that Ray Charles just was into it so much. He was so excited to be in this movie that he and that's the one song that I definitely got up and danced to. The Shake Your Tail Feather song was freaking awesome. Yeah, I just loved it. Getting to do all the different dances and jumping around and seeing everybody in the street dancing. It was just phenomenal, and he is just one of the best musical talents that we've ever had, I think. And he's just a genius when it comes to music. He's so talented. But to see him sitting there playing that, and they're peeling rubber pieces and stuff off of the organ while he's doing it, I just thought that was really good. The lead up and how they led up to each person singing one of their hit songs, on there was just really good. It was just, I just loved it. I just loved the whole lead up to it, getting to see him interact. And then later in the movie, when he's, when they buy it, they're going to buy it because I guess I'm going to have to take an IOU.
Yeah. And this is also the scene where you get to meet the little boy that later turns into the chauffeur in Die Hard. The little boy tries to steal the guitar.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yep.
Oh, I was like, you got to start almost getting shot by a blind man. Yeah. Put 2 bullet holes in the wall above his head. I thought that was really good, though. The fact that he just whips the gun out and shoots it, says, because he's going to stop that kid from stealing that guitar off the wall.
And then he makes a very paternal statement. I wish somebody would just, be a good parent to that child, something along those lines.
And that hasn't gotten any better, has it?
Chicago has stayed the same, if not deteriorated. I'm just going to say that as a member of the former member of the Illinois mental asylums. Yes, that state hasn't changed. Die Hard, Kronos. You remember the little black chauffeur man?
Yeah, the one who's on the phone talking the whole time while the stuff's going on upstairs.
Everything's going on, and he's on the phone macking out on girls while he's in the limo. Yeah, well, that same young man, he gets shot at by Ray Charles and the Blues Brothers.
No, I didn't realize that was him, but that's awesome.
It's all right. That's locked in my head for all time.
But it was so cool was I had so many flashbacks watching the street scenes, like when they were doing the blues singing in the street, and then all the kids running around, and they had the little markets going on, because that was just like downtown New Orleans to me. Down all in the quarter, it's like streets look just like that to me. The buildings, the balconies, people looking out the window. I mean, that's what I kept having flashbacks from.
See, when I watch this movie, I have flashbacks, but it's because I've seen this film like over 100 times.
Yeah.
And so like I'll remember something that one of my buddies said during the movie that we're watching it, and I could probably write the script of the film down for you. Mm-hmm. But this is a amazing film, and they get the musical instrument from Ray, and then after that, it's time for Jake to book a gig. Mm-hmm. And here's that damn mystery woman, and she nukes the phone booth.
Yeah.
How much money you got? And Elwood's like, I got $0.25. That's enough. Come on. And they get
enough for a phone call. They both get in there, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
Making a phone call.
Yeah, but he was like, "Why are you doing it? Why are you in here? I can make a phone call by myself."
Yeah,
because he knew he wasn't really going to call anyone, because he had no one to call. Basically, because he knew that guy probably wouldn't listen to him. But he did call him because they ended up going to see him later in the sauna.
The bathhouse, yes.
Yeah, the bathhouse.
Chicago is known for its bathhouses.
Who was that guy too? The guy with the cigar in the sweat box.
Oh, I'll remember that here in a minute.
Because my mom liked him too. I cannot remember him, but I remember so many faces because my mom loved that guy. And he was married to some famous singer, I think, a woman singer in real life, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. I can't remember what her name was though.
So they miraculously are unhurt from the exploding phone booth.
Yeah, but that was funny, is because you see her earlier flipping through some pages on a big thick manual, and it says something flamethrower on it, and
Yeah,
she's painting her nails, doing
yeah,
her nails while she's
and who
flipping,
puts a
and
fucking
she's really
propane tank?
lightly moving the pages around so she doesn't get her nail polish messed up while she's reading a manual on how to use a flamethrower. So you don't know what she's going to do with it. But then later, when you see the giant propane container next to the phone booth, and then you see her drive up in that car and get out with her little pigtails and stuff with this huge flamethrower to blast the shit out of I was laughing my butt off. I'm sorry, but that scene was really funny. And then that giant, huge amount of flames shoot out, and you see the heat rising in front of her. I don't know how they did that, because it really looked like it was really her holding that flamethrower. Didn't it to you?
She's a very small woman, but that was like a 25-pound rig she had on. Before I go on this, we have a very nice celebrity. Two of them, actually. George Lucas was in here earlier. And then now we have Jedi Bill, one of the greatest karaoke artists.
Jedi. Yeah, I went to his, wasn't he the one that does karaoke on Saturday night?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I went and went to one of his karaoke things. Boy, it's late at night though. It was just really hard for me to stay up that late.
If you have a cocaine problem, or if you love caffeine, go visit your friend, Mr. Jedi Bill, because he has an amazing karaoke show, and it's great. It's amazing. And Jedi Bill's also a very nice man. He sometimes wears a cat as a hat. Anyway, you'll have to see the video. It's on his page. It's one of his top viewed. It got hundreds of thousands of views. But go visit this man. Go subscribe to him. He's fucking amazing. I love Jedi Bill.
I got invited to go to Jedi Bill's karaoke stream by Boosh McFadden, and he had asked me to go. So I went, and I had a really good time. It was a lot of fun. It was very laid back. Everybody was so nice, and I felt so welcomed. It was a lot of fun. So I recommend going. And two of my friends from Twitter signed up and came and joined and was in the chat that night when I told them I'm going to go there and I'm going to try to sing a song, even though I suck, but I'm going to try. And I did. I sang. It wasn't very good, but it was fun. So that's what it's all about. It should be able to go and have fun. So that's what I did. And we're talking about a singing show right now. So it works out pretty good.
No, I'm just saying, Jedi Bill has one of the best late night streams out there. That's his usual time.
Mm-hmm.
He might have a schedule on social media like Twitter or something. And if you like his stuff, go subscribe to him. He's got a good panel of people. You meet good people there, like you got Kronos. You have God damn, why am I blanking on this? You've got Bush, you've got Kronos, you've got Deej, Odyssey on there. It's just a good crew of folks that operate that would normally be like the UK friendly time for internet, but he's late night American. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. A really, really good group of people, and they treat you really good. So you need to go by there on Saturday night for sure. I don't know what other days he might do karaoke, but I went on a Saturday night, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
So as they were driving through the countryside, they bump into this honky tonk.
Well,
Bob Country Bunker, pull over. This is it.
Yeah, this is it, because they were starting to get pissed off, and he knew it. And he was looking around, scanning, and he was like, "Oh, he saw that bar out in the middle of nowhere." So that's why he said. And he was lucky that band hadn't already gotten there. So that was.
Yeah, they're running late. Nobody knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Papa Cotton's like, online friends are best. Y'all come with on and off buttons. That's funny. I hope I didn't scare off Jedi Bill with my cocaine comment, because I'm not referring that he does cocaine, but I'm saying that he has a late night operating schedule. And this movie that we're talking about has a lot of cocaine in it. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm
well,
referring
it
to, Mr.
does.
Bill.
I mean, I didn't see anybody doing it
No.
in the movie, but I guess
No. It was all behind the scenes for the stuff to go on because of the late night schedules for this film to be filmed.
But you were talking about Carrie Fisher being really tiny, but to me it looked like she was really holding that because you could see the heat rising up in front of her and her hair raising up, because when you have long hair and it's like in the movie with Drew Barrymore, and she was like
Firestarter.
Yeah, Firestarter, and you see her hair rising up. If you ever go near a fire, like a big bonfire stuff, you can feel it in your hair. If you have long hair, you can see it rising up, like the wind or whatever it is. The heat lifts. It has like a lifting effect or whatever on hair, and even sometimes your clothes would kind of like move around like that because of the heat. And that's what it looked like to me. It looked like Carrie Fisher was actually holding this ginormous flamethrower with this giant, huge spray of fire coming out. And it's
coming right out of it.
That's what it looked like to me. And then you see the propane tank explode and the phone booth go straight up in the air like a rocket. Yeah. And then when it lands, you can tell it's a dummy, but it didn't matter, because when it lands and it smacks and it shatters, you see the what's supposed to be Jake's arm and head flop out of the side, and then you see Elwood go, "Look, there must be at least $7-something worth of quarters
here."
And then you see Jake's hand come out and he starts grabbing for the coins and stuff. I was rolling. I couldn't help it. It was so funny. The way they acted like it was nothing, like it was just, oh, well, everyone gets blown up on the weekends in Illinois. It was just funny. And it happened over and over. The slapstick humor of it was just phenomenal to me. I just laughed and laughed. I loved it. I was up dancing to the music, and then I was laughing my butt off at the interaction between the two brothers, and Carrie Fisher tried to kill him. So it was just funny. Oh, sorry, I had to laugh a little bit.
Good.
It's just funny to me. And I know anyone else who's seen it had to have laughed, because it was just a hilarious slapstick humor.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think the cosmic horror or the cosmic amusement of this movie is so good, because they have all these things befall them, and after the smoke clears, they dust themselves up and gather the $8 in quarters, and they move on. And then they go find
amongst all the glass shards and stuff. I just thought it was so funny. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. The Bob's Country Bunker, and they're good old boys, Blues Brothers, Rhythm and Blues Band, and then they asked Winnie, I guess, what's her name, the lady who's the wife of Bob.
the owner's wife, and they said,
like, we have both types of music, country and western.
Yeah, we got both kinds, country and western. I thought that was funny. But the thing is that the way the bar was set up and the angle, it was like the kind of like a little bit like the church when they had all the parishioners sitting in the pews, right? And then all the bright colors. Well, now you're looking up, and it's like the camera is set up above the stage. You can look out into the bar, and you see the tables, and they got this huge open area like for the dance floor, right? Because it looked like a real honky tonk redneck Rootem Tootem whatever bar, and it's all set up like that. And then they're all taking all their equipment in there and stuff, and then the guy, he goes, "Here, I'm going to give you this since you're the tall one." That's what he said, and he handed him that list of songs.
That's your song list.
Yeah, to perform. And then when he hands it to Jake, and Jake's like, "Oh, this doesn't matter. This is just like suggested songs or whatever, because he knew that, we don't know this stuff because we play blues. And I just thought it was funny. And then whoever it was, I think it was one of the guys in the band said, hey, that song that we played somewhere, the Rawhide song, and they started singing that. It was just classic. The way that Jake just stood there like he was really ticked off, and you just like, giving up, shoot him up, just like that.
Yeah. Frankie Lane and Jimmy Carroll.
It was so funny.
And that's a fucking classic song.
And then you see him turn, and he looks to the side, and he's like, he sees a whip. So it's hanging up there, so he gets it, and there's nobody standing around. He just starts using it to make it do that snap, that. Sorry if I hurt anybody's ears when I did that. But it was just funny. And then towards the end, when you see him do the whip again, and that woman's cigarette disappears from her mouth, just little dumb shit like that. It was just funny in the movie. It was really funny to me.
That's not John Belushi's wife, but there's two other waitresses in that scene. And one of them is married to Lorne Michaels, the guy that ran Saturday Night Live for so many years into the ground. And then the other waitress is actually John Belushi's wife, and she's kind of a looker. I will admit that.
Which one? Do you remember which one it was? Because they were picking up glass bottles and putting them in big hefty bags and stuff.
I'll get you a photo of her in just a second.
Yeah, I would like to see what she looked like, because I don't really remember anything about him being married or his wife or his family or anything.
Yep. Judith Belushi. Judith Belushi. What was her name? Are you serious? Pisano. She's of course Italian, but let me pull this up on the PC. But she's one of the ladies walking around the Western Bar, and it's freaking amazing to find that little piece of information out. Because I'm like, they staffed this movie with all their friends, and
And at the end, when the credits were going through, they showed the staff, all the people that were, the crew, the people that worked on the film. It was a huge group of them, and they're all like singing and stuff in the thing. They looked like a good group of people that probably had a lot of fun when they made that. So, can you make her a little bigger? Because I can't really see her. Well, she doesn't look familiar. I don't recognize her at all. I don't. If I saw her in a magazine or something, I wouldn't recognize her. She does not look familiar to me.
It's her and her husband.
An actress or anything?
She was in a couple things. We'll get to that in just a second. I believe
I don't recognize her. And who's this group of people?
I have no idea.
Oh. I thought you were trying to.
Oh wait, this is the Animal House photo she did, because she's the lady that Blutarski dances with in Animal House. Have we done Animal House yet?
No.
Okay, that's our next movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
What? You've never seen Animal House?
Now I saw little bits and pieces that my friends would, send me stuff, different scenes with something going on in it. But and I'd probably remember once I saw it in the movie. But no, I haven't sat down and actually watched it. There's lots of movies I haven't seen. I'm finding out how many I've missed because you brought me a bunch of them.
All right. Well, you're gonna watch for next week. You're gonna watch Animal House
because I haven't seen it
Another
yet.
John Landis.
Isn't it about college people or something?
It is.
Okay.
And guys, everybody in the chat, right now, Janet is on double secret probation.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What is double secret probation?
You gotta watch the movie.
Uh-oh. Okay. I will watch it.
Dean Warmer says it. This is a great movie. You'll really enjoy Animal House because it's the same director.
Yeah, and it's got John Belushi in it too, right?
It's got everybody in it.
Okay, because
anybody who ever made
all the rumors I heard about John Landis and him dealing with John Belushi, it was always arguments and stuff. So why would John Landis keep wanting to make movies with him?
Well, I think this was the last collaboration they did before he cut John Belushi loose, and then John Belushi was in, I think, one more big film called Continental Divide with Pam Dauber, and then before that movie, he was dead. Before the movie aired, it was 1982 when Continental Divide came out, and then there was two serious films with John Belushi, and the movies before that were all really like funny movies. Like you had Animal House, 1941, The Blues Brothers, just classics. And then after the split, this wasn't really an official split because they were still friends, but he wasn't mentoring him and trying to be there for him, because like trying to film with John Belushi is like trying to herd cats.
Well, it's just like a few other famous actors. Once they start getting into the drugs, a lot of their friend field just kind of weeds out, because people start getting just worn out. Like the guy that was in John Candy's friend.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what his name is right now. That he was in bunches of movies with him, and they just get burned out, from having to be getting the phone call in the middle of the night, all the time, having to go there and help them and stuff.
What you gotta do? What's going on?
Yeah, so but the thing is, they did do it, and the people that were River Phoenix's friends, stuff like that. I mean, just lots and lots of stories like that in Hollywood, where they just got burned out. Even that Hartman guy, his wife,
Hartman.
Yeah, because she was a drug addict, right? An alcoholic.
She was into the chemicals. I'll just say that. And
so, the tragic part of that was because she was jealous of him, because he still had a career, but he loved her and he tried to make it work, but he just couldn't stop her from the drugs. That's why I was so sad when we did that movie with Mel Gibson, Payday movie. Is that what it's called? Right? Payday? Payback. Payback. The scene where, when he's in there with his wife and, she's got that jewelry box, plays music, and it's got her drugs in it. I mean, it's a really tough thing because so many people's lives are affected with drugs and alcohol, and they're ruined. They ruins everything because it taints everything that you're involved in. And, it makes me feel really bad for, John Belushi's family and stuff, because, some people like George Burns, I mean, no one saw George Burns, I don't think, in his whole career. I was never, the only time I ever remember even seeing George Burns was when he played God in a movie that my mom watched. So, I didn't know who he was, but my mom talked about him, especially when he died. And that, she never saw him without a cigar and a drink, so some people can drink, like Dean Martin, all the way up until they're not alive, and handle it. It doesn't really tear their life to shreds, but other people just can't do it. And it's, it's a tragedy because their DNA can either take it or it can't. But yeah, it's really sad when you have loved ones that are affected, by something like that, because it tears up so many people, especially when you love them, when you have people that love you, they're getting torn up because there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah. Oh, God was great. Yeah, George Burns lived like me, 100 or 103, something ungodly.
Yeah, he was pretty old, I think. He made it a long ways considering his lifestyle. It's so funny. I heard someone make a comment about a couple of people about how it seemed to them when they were growing up that if you smoke and you drank, if you never went without a cigarette and you drank 24/7, that you could live to be 100. But the people that were healthy and ran every day and ate right were dying in their 50s. So it's like,
I really enjoy good alcohol. That's all I'm going to see. I'm going to say.
It just seems like the people that enjoy their life, to me, are the ones that live the longest.
Yeah, I agree with that. they get to Bob's Country Bunker, and that's one of the funny parts of the movie. One of
Yeah.
the funniest parts of the movie because of the bullwhip and all the shenanigans going on. And once they start playing music that's approved of the drunkards in the honky tonk, they're allowed to keep playing, and they play like maybe a full set, but they don't know much country. And
Yeah, they
I think,
sing that song, Stand By Your Man.
yeah,
And they did close-ups on all these roughneck, hillbilly cowboys
Hillbilly
and
Man.
stuff, and they're all singing and crying in their beard.
And the one guy with the vest and the trucker hat and
Yeah.
flannel, I felt for that dude. I've been that guy before a lot. You
And he didn't have a woman, he didn't have a woman. He was sitting there by himself crying in his beer. And then you had the other guy looking in this woman's eyes, and they're holding hands and sitting across from each other. The other couple, he's got his arm around his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, and they're going back and forth and singing the music. It was just, I just thought it was such a good scene. It was really funny. Because see, they were making fun of all those people, for being rednecks and rowdy and stuff. But it wasn't distasteful. It didn't make you go, oh, I hate hillbillies. It didn't make you hate anyone. Everyone, they made fun of everyone in this movie. The Hitler people, they made fun of the police, they made fun of the just everybody got made fun of, and it wasn't distasteful. I mean, it wasn't to where you felt like it was racist, or you didn't feel like it was bigoted. I didn't feel any bad negativity from it. It filled me with joy. I really did. I was standing up in my living room, dancing around like a dork, and clapping and cheering, and I just loved it. But people don't like to go to the movies with me because I'm like, oh my God, did you see that? I'm talking through the whole movie,
I'll
and
have to add Janet's daughter to my friends list so Janet's daughter can get us some bootleg video of Janet dancing around the living room.
Oh, it's terrible. They absolutely hate me. Now, one of my best friends, she would go because she was as bad as me, and we'd be, oh, what's going to happen next? This girlie getting it, because I'm one of those people. I really talk a lot during the movie, and it's not because I'm trying to interrupt. It's because I'm very interactive with it, especially if it's something I really love. My sister
screen talking.
Well, my sister Sandy went with me to see the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and I was talking through the whole thing, and she said she had a blast. So I guess because she's known me my whole life, so basically she was ready for it. But it was so good. It was such a good movie. I really, really enjoyed it, and I always liked that through the whole movie. It was giddy and exciting, and then getting to watch this movie on a big screen in my living room and stand there and be excited and sing and I had a sound bar on. I had my sound bar on so I could hear the music at the best quality, and it was just took me away from everything. It was just so good. The music, the soundtrack, the acting, and knowing it wasn't perfect acting because these people weren't actors. These were singers, these were performers that go on stage and sing, but it didn't matter to me because I loved it. Like Ray Charles's character, everything about the different people and the little story leading up to each part was entertaining to me. Just to get it, and to knowing that they're about to sing a song made me excitable, because of it. Just to get to hear them perform a hit song, it was I just loved it. And then when they end up finding out that they're only going to make $200 for all that work, it was just sad. I mean, I was like, $200. People go through that for $200, and then they said, "Well, yeah, and your bar tab was 300 and something." So it was like, oh, it was just more trouble for him because they drank. He goes, "Well, when you handed us the first 2 beers, and you didn't ask for any money, we just figured it was on the house." And he was like, "No,
nope."
So
that.
It was like, poor Jake, just no matter what he did, it was never good enough. It was, he could not cut a break. Even though he was on a mission from God, he couldn't get a break for anything. It just seemed like it was just the screws were being turned, but they were never stopping. He's being crushed by them. It with bad luck. And it was really sad because you just wanted them to have something good happen. Not simply because they needed the money. It was that you just wanted them to get a break. You wanted to see them happy for a change, get something good out of it. But it didn't seem like it was going to happen that way. But it was still funny. You can't help but laugh at them. And then when they're packing up their vehicle to leave, he's like, "Pack up. I'm gonna get our money." It's like, and they're all rushing because they know that something's not good when he's telling them to go ahead and let me take care of business. And then then you see them pull out, and then you see the RV pull in. That said "Good Old Boys" on the side. Oh my God,
good old boys.
yeah, shit's gonna hit the fan. So it was funny.
And the racket that Jake tries to pull on him. I'm from the Union, and good old boys guy's like, "You're gonna look real fucking good eating some corn on the cob with no fucking teeth."
Yeah, it was
I fucking fell out again when I watched that movie.
The whole RV scene was hilarious when you see him chasing them down the road, and they do a little bit far. They zoom in on the driver, right? And then they zoom out a little bit, and you see the other guy, and they're arguing about how fast he's driving and all this kind of stuff. And then it pulls out a little bit more, and you see 4 heads in the window, like they're all laying on the mattress up there, side by side, looking out the window. So stupid.
They're all riding like that. It's like,
it was so stupid, but it was funny. This is the thought of thinking about it, because it was just funny to me. It was hilarious. And then he pulls out the gun and he's shooting out the window at him. I just thought that was funny. And then the cops, are waiting behind a billboard, just like in Smoking the Bandit or something. So there was little
like in real life.
Yeah, there was little things like that throughout the movie. It reminded me of other movies, So it was just funny. That part was funny. And then the Keystone Cop attitude, that they still had, because they're all too stupid to be able to do anything on their own. So they're like a big cluster F, there's no rhyme or reason to anything. They're just all like just running into each other and falling down. And it was just funny. I just thought it was really funny. But when they pull out really quickly after they see him go by, and they ram into that the RV, and there was just a huge mess, and you see the insulation and just everything, it was just mangled up, a mangled mess. It was just hilarious to me. It was funny.
I believe your family has entered the chat.
Oh, hello. How you doing? Yes, she saw my I was asking her to tell me what's a good way to make me a habit so I can wear it for the movie. So she sent me a couple of links to websites so I could do it.
They do a really good job with getting everything set up in this film, because that wreck happens, and you have the Winnebago and the cop car, and the cops look even more pissed than last time.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a real happy cop after like a failed chase. You don't want to be around. You really don't. So I'm just gonna say that I've been there when things go down south.
Yeah, when he pulls his gun out, he finally gets to pull his gun out, and he says, and he points it at the guys, and is like, "You're in trouble."
Yeah, you boys are in real trouble.
And they just put their heads up, and they're ready to do whatever that's going to happen. But even though it wasn't even really their fault, the cops pulled out and rammed them. Basically,
the cops have had situational awareness.
Yeah, they weren't paying attention to what they were doing, so it was basically their fault. But they were speeding, just like the Blues Brothers were. So I thought that whole thing was funny.
But
the whole scene.
Afterwards, they use one of the coins from the
loot that they hauled out from after the terrorist attack.
Yeah,
with the flamethrower.
they get a hold of Maury Sline. He's the agent who organized a lot of the book and booked him up. And they're asking, well, what about the boss? What about this? What about that? And he's like, no, I got a place for you. But
Steve
it's out of the
Lawrence.
way.
And they're like,
But,
we need $5,000. And he's like, $5,000? Who do you think you are? The Beatles?
yeah.
I thought that was really funny. And then they're like, you see him zoomed in a little bit, and they're Jake's dripping with sweat, and he's wearing his hat and the sunglasses in there, and so is Elwood. Okay, they're both doing that, and they're talking to him, and he's in the middle with all his chains and everything, and rings on his fingers, and he's got a stogie in his mouth. It was so funny. I couldn't help but laugh. It was so stupid, but it was funny. And they're all talking, and then the camera backs up when they say, "Okay, but if you do make any money, I need to get a part of it. I want some of it, some of the action, or whatever." And then the camera zooms out, and then you see the whole band sitting up there in the corner with their towels on. I just thought that was so funny because it was so stupid. And that's why it was so funny, is because it was like total something that you'd see on the TV show Jackass, something that stupid is what was going on. And it was just funny. I just couldn't help but laugh. It was just so stupid. So they all leave. Now they actually have a real gig, because all the guys in the band were actually in there. So they know that it's real, right? Yeah. So they know something is real is going to happen, and they're going to have this huge auditorium they got to fill. And then you see the Blues Brothers with a ginormous speaker tied to the roof of their car, and they're driving around.
Air raid speaker, mind you. That would be mounted on a tower.
It was just so funny. They're driving around, and Jake's got a map, and he's like, moving the map around, looking at it. And then Jake, his brother Elwood, is yelling through the thing about one night only. And then you got Cab Calloway using the little kids at the orphanage and making them pass out flyers, Wait,
it
was just the cutest thing. Those little kids, it reminded me of a flashback of what was the name of that show with the little kids? The Good Gang, or whatever they were called.
Get Along Gang?
Spanky's Gang. Spanky and
Little Rascal?
A Little Rascal Gang. That's what it reminded me of. Because these were this little, and they were so cute. Oh, I just wanted to hug all of them. They were just adorable little kids. And I know they're all grown ups now and probably have grandkids or something. I don't know. But they were just so cute to see them. And they were passing out those flyers. And it was just, the whole thing was just adorable. The whole thing, getting the little kids involved in saving their orphanage. I just thought that was just adorable, because they're on a mission from God. So, I just love that whole thing. It was just so cute. And then they go, okay, you think we got enough? And he's like, well, where have we gone? And he tells it was basically two areas. It wasn't even very many. Very much. They just covered like 2 areas. Okay, let's get to the show.
Yeah, they went to Indiana Beach, Holiday Beach, for some of you guys that remember that. They went to Indiana Beach, and they got swarmed by a bunch of ladies in bikinis. And it's also ladies' night.
That's what, when Elwood said, it's ladies' night tonight, because he wanted to get all the babes to show up, You
get the babes to show up, the dudes will follow. It's like having Janet do a stream. By the way,
dressed like a nun.
Dressed like a nun.
You ain't getting none of this.
American F woman. I'm telling you, your sister's super popular. I don't know if you had to deal with this when she was growing up. She's super popular now.
Yeah, and, Sandy got all my potentials, because she was built like a brick house, and I was built like a gymnast. I was very skinny and thin, and wasn't well endowed at that time. My mom kept saying, one day you'll get some, and she was right. I go, why do I have to be not a teenager and be a grown-up before I finally got boobs? So, oh well. We all have to take what we can get.
In addition to the cocaine that was added to the budget, they had to add in replacement Ray-Ban sunglasses, because John Belushi got nicknamed the Black Hole. He went through hundreds of pairs of sunglasses during production. He does a scene and he loses the pair before the film the next one. I think he's just handing them different people in the crew until the entire crew had 2 pairs of sunglasses each.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, he probably gave them to a lot of girls.
Yes.
Because they could say, I have a pair of sunglasses from John Belushi. So I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of them handed out that way.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. After that, they get to the show, and they're late. They're fashionably late as all time. While they're there waiting for the fuel truck to arrive at the gas station, Twiggy's there, supermodel Twiggy, and she is getting hit on by Aykroyd, and Aykroyd sets up a date. And then he gets the fuel, and then they zoom off. And while the crowd's waiting, the crowd is eagerly waiting. They've all paid their $2, maybe. Maybe the women didn't, but whatever. They've all paid their $2 to see the show. And Cab Calloway comes out and just amazingly, hey, Shadow and Sun, he amazingly hits every note with this version of Minnie the Moocher.
And I love that scene because when you see them all there, and then when the curtains open, they're magically wearing
different
really spiffy white outfits, and they're dressed nice like if it was a big band era, I thought that was a really classy, and I really enjoyed that scene. Did get to see Cab Calloway actually perform on stage was like a real treat to get to see him do that.
Was a real treat
and the guys in the band, the looks on their face, you could tell they were just ecstatic. You know what I mean? To get to play the music for him while he's performing. I just love that scene. I thought the scene was just phenomenal. I was just clapping. I was just really into it because it was so iconic, the whole thing, and the way that they did it as soon as the curtains went up and you get to see him, and it was just really good. And the lucky people, all the extras, they got to sit out there and watch these performances and stuff, and just get to watch them even just strumming the guitars and whatever else they were doing. They were lucky, and I'm telling you that every one of them enjoyed every minute of getting to do what they did, and getting to watch the movie years later and know that they were part of that. How lucky they were. You know what I mean? They were just lucky people.
This movie's a classic.
Yeah,
I know
definitely.
a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, that movie's a drug movie." Well, maybe so, but not. There was not on camera. It was amazingly all kept behind the camera.
Well, they did a good job because to me, I never thought about drugs at all the whole time I watched it. I mean, it was a lot of alcohol consumed during the movie, and a lot of cigarettes smoked and a few stogies. But that's what you expect from rhythm and blues. They all drank, scotch or bourbon and stuff like that, and had their big stogies and smoked their cigars and played their instruments. It was I just loved it. I just love that era of music. I just love that just to get to see these iconic people in the street performing music, and all the lucky people getting to listen to them while they played. Oh, I was so jealous of everyone. I just really would have loved to been able to be a part of something like that. And probably none of them are alive anymore. I mean, I don't think any of the people that played
about a third to half of them are still alive, I bet.
Oh, really?
Of the extras, yeah.
No, not the extras, the actual performers.
The performers?
Yeah.
Probably 3/4 of the cast is dead, except for like Dan Aykroyd, Marino. I know Murph, the guitar Murph is gone. I don't know. I think Willie Too Big Hall, the drummer, I think he's gone. But Donald Duck Dunn, he's gone. The Colonel's still alive, I believe. That you could go through the IMDb and just cry.
Like the 3 gentlemen that were performing in the street in front of the place that Aretha Franklin sang in. Are any of them alive? I mean, people like that. Are any of them still alive? I mean, That's the people I was talking
Maybe
about.
one of the three dancers that she
Yeah.
had.
Just like you said, that Cab Calloway's gone. And I'm just wondering, if any of the other actual blues singers are, around. That whole icon of people is just dwindling down to there's just so few
Just
uh,
just
people
just
like
enjoy the music they left behind, because if you try to, like, oh, I wonder if this person's still alive, and you see them now and they're like old and withered and white haired and they look like a peach that's been left outside on top of an anthill and it's about ready to. It's terrible.
Bruce, you're terrible because you're going to get old one day too, and someone
I'm
will
already
be
there,
talking about
honey.
you looking like a peach left outside on an anthill. It's just terrible. But
What?
it is, but that's
Yeah.
reality. It happens to everyone. It happens to everyone. It's just sad because you see something that's so iconic, it's just disappearing,
Don't get weepy about it. Be happy that you were able to witness it while they were alive, and
Yes, I
maybe
am.
even see them at a convention and
Yeah.
say, "I thank you. I have this movie on Betamax, on VHS, on DVD, and I have it on Blu-ray, and now I pirate it." You know,
I'm gonna get the album. I've already ordered it, so when I get it, I'm gonna start listening to it again because it
but
was just it just inspired me again. I just absolutely loved the music from this movie. I just think they're great. It's fun music too. You can't help but want to just jam to it. And what better way to put you in a good mood than to listen to good music? I know Kronos and I were always competing with each other, and there's a few others in my music section of my Discord. We're constantly just putting stuff in there almost every single day, and it's fun because I've heard some songs that I never heard before, and I've added them to my playlist because I go, wow, this is interesting music. So it's just nice to get to meet new people that are interested in so many different genres of music, and you actually get to listen to it and give you a taste of what they're into, and it's really interesting, and I like it. I love getting to learn new music and listen to new things that I've never heard before, because I never heard of Rammstein. I mean, it's just not, a band that I would normally hear, but thanks to Kronos, I do. And I really like some of their songs. And Imagine Dragons or whatever their name,
Imagine Dragons.
yeah, they're really, really good. So it's just, I don't know, it's just really interesting to get to um, listen to some of this stuff that I never probably would have ever listened to in my life if I hadn't met certain people. And that's great, because, getting to meet new people is, something I enjoy. I absolutely love getting to meet new people and talking to people, things like that. As you can tell,
Mhm.
I love talking.
We just kind of let Janet talk into a microphone, and if we leave her with the camera on, she'll have like a group of 100 before the hour's up.
Well, sometimes, but I put people to sleep too, so that's good.
Coming Thursday
Sometimes.
on Janet's channel, Janet does have a stream coming on. She's going to be doing I guess, a Spaces.
Yeah, we're
And
going to be doing a Twitter space. It's a group of my friends that are gay and lesbian, and they're against grooming. So they're going to do a special space on Twitter, and I'm going to air it on my channel so that more people can get to listen to it. And there's a bunch of going to have a bunch of guests on there, and they're going to also have speakers that join the space that will get a microphone and get to talk about things that they think are important that people should know. So I'm excited about it. And the only reason I'm getting to do it is because Bruce was kind enough to, after last Monday, after our show, he said, I want to show you how to do this. So I shared my screen with him, and
I
he
saw
helped
you try
me.
once, and we're done with that.
I
We're
know,
never
I
no
couldn't help
more.
it. I was so thankful for you to help me, and I was
That
able to
wasn't the
set
time I'm
up.
referring to. I'm okay with that whenever you're having tears of gratitude.
Mhm.
When Janet's got tears of frustration, and like I tune in because why is Janet streaming? What's going on? And I see Janet. I see Janet's filters in place, and she's having trouble pulling people in. And I'm like, I don't know what software she's got. And so I messaged a few people to go in there, and they're like, I don't even know what she's using. Then you said
Yeah, I
later,
was using Streamlabs
Stream Elements,
desktop.
that you're using Stream Elements and you don't know how to use it. And I'm like, okay. So last week I'm like, I'm never again going to have Janet on live stream by herself on her channel, bawling her eyes out because the fucking UI is bullshit and it doesn't have a friendly option for newbies.
Yeah,
So
for dum
show you
dums.
StreamYard, and I show you StreamYard, and never again touch Stream Elements. Stop paying Stream Elements. Never again. No more. No mas. No mas. Mas. And just pay this. You're going to be fine. And just use StreamYard. StreamYard, you can have 10 people. You can have multiple cameras if you want to pay for that.
It's so easy and simple. A couple of clicks, and and when your friend sent me the information, I printed it out. I made myself a little notebook with it so I can just flip through it whenever I get stuck on something, so I can look it up real quick and try to fix it. But the thing is that it's just night and day compared to what the other program was. And I was able to make an opening for my thing and an all this different stuff, but I didn't know how to add people. And I'm like, what good is having live streams when you can't have anybody on your show? And that's what was so frustrating about it. And so many nice people wanting to help me. Do what?
Janet's sister is saying, I love you, Janet. And Bruce, thank you for helping my sister. I'm like, oh, you're good, hon.
Oh, thank you, Sandy. Sorry, I said her name. I meant to say American.
She's from Kronos. She's from Venus. Women are from Venus. Men are from Mars. Mm-hmm. So, they get done with their 2 songs, and then as they're getting ready to leave, they get hit by a producer, and he's like, I've got to have you guys for my next album. And they're like, what? I've got a $10,000 advance I'll be willing to give you. Mm-hmm. Shit. And so
he gives them the money back, and he tells them to pay the band and to pay somebody else. What was the other person?
The raise IOU.
Oh yeah, the IOU on the equipment that they purchased to Ray Charles.
Yep.
So they're all taken care of. So now the band is actually going to get a payday. So they're happy. And then he goes, how can I get out of here without being seen? He goes, back in the day, I was a bouncer. So
he tells him everything he needs to know.
How to get out of the place without being seen.
So it's pretty funny. They sneak out the service entrance, and as they're getting ready to get to their car, all of a sudden, here's Carrie Fisher with an M16, and she goes through a whole magazine. She mag dumps. And of course, none of the bullets hit at all.
But the whole time that she's shooting, they're rolling around in the sludge in the pipe that they're in. Mm-hmm. So when he gets up and he starts begging for his life, to her, and he's covered with dirt, and he got a flat tire, he ran out of gas, everything you could.
God, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, it wasn't my fault. And then he takes off his glasses. That's why he wore glasses through the whole movie. And all you see is his eyes glowing, and they're clean because there's no dirt there. And and he's looking at her, and he raises his eyebrows, and she's like, oh, Jake, she falls for him again. Mm-hmm. And then he gives her a great big old kiss and then drops her in the dirt. So she knows, he played her again, just like a harp. So she got left out. But that's when you find out what happened and why she was wanting to kill him. And she explains about him leaving her standing at the altar and what her dad and mom had to go through with all the money and the humiliation of being left at the altar after all the money that they spent for this huge lavish wedding he didn't show up for. So basically it caused her dad to drink himself to death, or I don't know, some whole bunch of tragic stuff happened. So all she wanted was to get revenge and kill him and his brother. That's what she told him. So that they got Carrie Fisher to be in that movie to do that. I bet she laughed her butt off, though. I bet she had so much fun making this movie.
She probably did. She also had another job on set when John Belushi wasn't on set. He went everywhere in Chicago, and her job was to keep him away from drugs. But
Mhm.
everybody was slipping him vials and packets of cocaine. Oh, it's John Belushi.
Yeah, but didn't she do drugs too?
Lots and
Yeah,
lots and lots of
so
drugs.
she was just supposed to be with him so that he'd have someone to do drugs with him, I guess. So he wouldn't be alone.
Yeah, if she could keep him away, she said she told John Landis later, everybody who had a job there also dealt, and patrons could and did score anything.
Yeah.
And so, like, they figured into the budget of the movie, which wasn't 30 million, it was 27.5 million. They figured into that budget some cocaine use for the people that were in this movie, because a lot of the night shifts.
Oh, good night, Bone. Sorry,
Good night,
Bone
Bone.
is I gotta go to bed. I can read.
Lobbying from the Italian American community ensured the line "The Mafia is out there" was redubbed to "The Mob is out there" when this film was shown on ABC television.
Yeah.
They had like so many problems getting everything set up, but once the mob got involved with this movie, they found that clearing streets was a lot easier. For the scenes shot under the L, they had to shoot it at 118 mile per hour. This Dodge Monaco 1974 with a 440-inch cubic plant, as Elle would put it. They had to shoot that and drive that at 118 under the L.
Mm-hmm.
And they did the first pass with no pedestrians. And
Yeah.
then the second pass with pedestrians, and they did the most amazing car chase scene that I've ever seen, which was 110 cars wrecked, which was a record held for 2 years till 82. I forget the name of the B movie that they used to top it, but might as well have been like Megaforce, and I still wouldn't give a shit.
And the thing is, it looked to me when they edited it together, because that's what I was looking at. I was looking at the different camera angles for the different pileups. Like when you had all the vehicles, the police officers' cars wrecking underneath the bridge, like where you see all the overpasses and stuff, and they're wrecking underneath them, right?
Yeah.
And you can see that they're going on a ramp or something, because you have a car down here and then you see them go up and ram into it like sideways or on top or going over it and taking the lights off, things like that. There was a lot of camera angles. So they had to have had at least 5 or 6 cameras, it looked like to me, from different for every crash. It's like the ones where they were going off the side of the embankment and crashing and piling up, a dog piling on the side of the road. That scene. There was at least 20 or 25 cars in that wreck. Okay. Then down the road, when they get into the city, there was like 4 or 5 other pileups, spin outs, ramming other vehicles, but it was mostly all police cars. So basically, what they were doing, it looked like using the same cars over and over again, and rigging them to like have a bumper fly off or a door fly off, or stuff like that on each vehicle. Because a couple of times I noticed that it looked like the bumper came off and a door flew off and stuff like that in 2 or 3 different crash scenes. But they did a great job, because you could tell that whoever was in charge of setting up the car crashes and the stunt people and stuff like that,
they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing for sure, because I didn't read anything. I looked up the accidents on set of Blues Brothers, things like that. I couldn't find anything.
No.
So they must have had a really good crew put together to be able to do all the stunts. There was so many car crashes in this movie. I was just shocked, because I kept trying to keep count 1, 2, 3, 25 in that scene, and then 37 in this, like, wow, there was just tons of car accidents, but they were almost all cop cars. So they did a good job.
You have, as the scene continues, as the car wrecks continue, as they're pursuing the Blues Brothers through. You see a familiar face, the police dispatcher. His name is Ralph Foodie. He's in a very important movie by the name of Home Alone. And he says, "You filthy animals." That's him.
Yep. And I thought he looked familiar. I couldn't remember who he was, but now I could. But his voice sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So he's been in a lot of other things, I think, too, besides just Home Alone. Is he like a real announcer or something? TV announcer?
No, he's just he's a very good character actor. He's been in a lot of John Hughes films. He's been in a lot of Chicagoland area productions. I believe that's his stomping grounds.
So he's a famous guy for being in Chicago.
Yes.
But I recognize him, and I'm not from Chicago. So that's what I thought was interesting was, he was familiar to me, and I'm not a natural person from Chicago.
No, you see him a lot in like the Joliet and Chicago area stuff they used to do. I believe he's gone now.
Yeah, he looked kind of older when he did that. But was it just him supposed to be a news person doing the news, or was it just him a dispatcher for the police department?
He's just a dispatcher for the police department.
Okay, because it was like he had the little monitors in front of him and was showing all the other cop cars chasing him and stuff. So I didn't know for sure.
And they finally get to the Daily Center, which for the Daily Center to approve of this, there was a lot of glad handing, a lot of money being changed out, and they had three Sherman tanks, armored personnel carriers.
A helicopter.
Helicopter. Everybody's there. You have a SWAT team. Hut, 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 hut.
Oh yeah, they're coming down the building and stuff, and then when they're getting out of the armored vehicle, and they're all jumping around and stuff, and wearing their special, like vests and stuff like that. Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, there was a lot of people in that scene at the very end of the movie.
Yeah, the 500 extras is what they used.
Man, there was a lot. You could tell because remember, like I said earlier in the movie, it seemed like they didn't have enough people. It was very barren. It was very few. But as the movie progressed, you saw like in the mall scene when they're going through all the stores and everything, all the crowds of people that were coming out. Slowly throughout the movie, you saw more and more people. Like at the crowd for the Nazi rally, there was a lot of people fighting to get through there, and then them cheering and stuff when they drove across the bridge and they all leaped into the river. So
now, the scene where the Volvo flies through the air, I mean, they get to that bridge before they get to the Daily Center, and the Blues Brothers backs up, gets in reverse, doesn't fall off the bridge, and then as it flips in there, it magically turns back around the direction it needs to, and the Nazis fly off the bridge. Before they film that scene, the city of Chicago had to have the Volvo drop tested from 1,400 feet, so when they dropped it in this movie, it wouldn't deviate. They had to make sure that it would fall like a stone. They did 2 drop tests, which afterwards they did an actual drop of that Volvo, not with the 2 guys inside, but they edit it like it does. That scene was a 1,400-foot Volvo drop, which I thought is hilarious.
Yeah.
And then the other Nazis managed to pit themselves in that same hole that the orange Volvo dropped into. And the Blues Brothers just kind of fly right over. More cosmic madness. Here you go, kids. The Blues Brothers can have no real wrong in this movie.
Well, that's because they were on a mission from God. See, that's another thing about them miraculously being able to stand up covered with bricks and stuff from all the explosions and the torching of the phone booth and all the different stuff. Even though they were destroying millions of dollars in property for property damaging, and I mean, destroyed a whole mall. Okay, they blew up a propane tank and a phone booth. It destroyed that completely, and then all the police cars that they destroyed. I mean, it was just there were chaos from beginning to end through the whole city, and yeah, they went to prison, but they're never going to be able to pay that money back for all the destruction. Now, even though they were on a mission from God and they saved the orphanage, but that's about it.
As Steven Spielberg's eating a sandwich, and they get him to do business while he's off duty. Now, mind you, every doorway they get into, they're barricading, and the people coming behind them are debarricading. They're ripping the barricades apart.
Yeah, that one scene where they were trying to break through, and there's a cigarette machine, you know, and the trash cans and like those ash cans, you know, that they used to have in businesses because people used to actually be able to smoke inside.
You remember that? You remember when we used to be able to smoke inside? Now I can't even say the word Nazi.
Yeah, you have to be so many. Yeah, you got to be, you know, half a mile down the block to be able to smoke, you know, if you go back. So everybody's on the lunch break running down to the smoking center a mile down the road, smoking their cigarette on the way there and all the way back. And then they go back into their job and miss their lunch because they're just to have one cigarette. Yeah, I was just flabbergasted, you know, how many businesses can you even go in? I don't even think they have cigarette machines anymore, do they?
I've not seen one in over 10 years.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, it was just so iconic, this movie, because there was so many things in it that you'd never see anymore. And the movie how old is this movie? I mean, it was 1980.
This movie is 43 years old.
40 years old. Wow, that's amazing, because you can't see any of this stuff. There was no way they could ever make this movie. They could not make this movie again. They would have to tear the script to shreds and start from scratch, because you just can't have Nazis in it. You can't do, you can't have all the weapons that they had.
Too many white people in this movie.
Do what?
There's too many white people in this movie.
Yeah.
I can hear that now.
It's not versatile enough.
And here's the funny thing. When this movie was being released to theaters, it was not released to a lot of theaters in the South, because racism in 1980 was still a thing. Dropping the N-bomb in today's America, not going to be having a job tomorrow. Drop a N-bomb in 1980s America, you're just like Tom, Dick, or Sally.
Everybody was doing it, apparently.
About me heads. So, it's kind of funny how all this shit's changed, and they're trying to deplatform you if you say things that are against the correct think. Don't you have bad wrong think. So we see Steven Spielberg give them the receipt for the check for the assessor's office just as they're cuffed, and you hear the opening strums to Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah, and then you hear but what was deafening to me in that one scene is you hear the clock tick, 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 while they're going up the elevator. Everything's really slow. It's like everything's in slow motion, and all the other stuff going by really fast because they're all trying to get up one floor at a time, right, to get up there. And they can't use the elevator because remember, Aykroyd took the whole thing apart and flamed it with a can of some kind of spray paint or something.
He had a magical bag with all the things
his briefcase had everything in it you need. He was MacGyver, you know what I mean? It was that was funny too in itself. But after all the stuff they went through and all the tick 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 of slow motion of them finally getting in there, and he gets his stamps, and then all of a sudden you hear the click of the wristbands going on them, right? But then all of a sudden you hear click 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 of all the guns,
all the safeties being dropped.
Yeah, all the safeties and the triggers. People's got their finger on the trigger, and this is a whole room packed with military and cops with weapons pointed at them. There was more guns in that one room than you saw in the whole movie of John Wick.
Yeah.
I was surprised because it was shocking. But you could hear click, 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 and all the safeties going off on all these weapons, and nobody got shot. You know what I mean? Not one person got shot or injured that I know of. I couldn't find anything on any of the car crashes or the fight scenes or anything. And it just shows you the difference between the 1980s when they made something compared to now when you got a person that can shoot two people, on set making a movie. I mean, it just, it's just flabbergasting to me. But there's just no way they can make this movie. I mean, I thought it was great. I loved it. I laughed. I danced. I was inspired by it, and it was just really good. I just can't think of any other actors they could get to play Jake and Elwood Blues at all. Now you could replace a few of the other people that were in the movie for their characters, but Carrie Fisher's part, I can't picture anyone else playing Carrie Fisher, especially the scene when Jake takes off his glasses and she's looking at him and he's begging her for his life. And he takes off his glasses. She's like, "Oh, Jake," after she tried to kill him like 5 times.
Anybody click that?
Do what?
No, you did that like ASMR voice, and I'm like, did anybody click that?
Oh, no. But the thing is that it's just, there was so many things in it that were iconic that I just can't see him ever being able to.
Ever making a movie like this again.
I just don't. It's just no way. Just like Rocky Horror Picture Show, you can't top it. You can't top perfection.
They're going to try to top Rocky Horror Picture Show. They're going to give us Dylan Mulvaney.
I don't care how many times they try to make it. They can't. They won't ever top. You can't top perfection. You just can't. Tombstone can never be remade. Not that Tombstone. It's just not gonna. You're just not gonna top it. It's just
true.
You can't beat it. But yeah, and then you see them all in the jail, and they're all performing. The whole band is up there. Everybody got arrested, which I don't understand why, because they didn't break the law. That's one thing I didn't understand. That's the only thing I didn't understand.
Accomplices, and they're in the state of Illinois. That's all I'm going to say.
I guess.
They're in the state of Illinois, and they all get to play together. And the first person to jump up on the table and start dancing is long-haired and mustachioed Joe Walsh.
Yep.
Joe Walsh is the first one up on the table, and everybody else starts dancing too. And then you get to see various shots of the crew and gaffers and everybody gets to do their solo. And it's kind of cool to see that, because half of them or 2/3 of them are no longer with us.
Yeah.
You get to see them in their prime. And then
it was really good.
God, that movie is so amazing. And there's a reason why I've watched this movie probably 110, 112 times, because from start to finish, it's a quality movie. When it's on and your friends are seeing this film, like you're watching it, and like you'll have another friend be like, "What are you doing?" "We're watching Blues Brothers." "I'll be right over." And then like, "You want to restart the movie for you? We can do that." It wouldn't feel right to have you jump in the middle. Well, I've seen it before. We're watching the Blues Brothers. You want us to go back to the beginning? And it just feels like that. It's one of those films. But
yeah, I've only seen it like 20 times since the first time I saw it. But getting to watch it the other day, it's been like, I'd say 12 years at least since I watched it. And I just, you go, "Oh, I forgot he was in it." Like when I saw Pee Wee Herman, it was like, Pee Wee Herman's in this movie. I totally forgot about him. I mean, 100%. Even though you cannot not recognize him. You know what I mean? When you see him in the scene, you go, "Oh, you know him." Yeah. So it was fun. It was a fun movie. I danced. I laughed. I really, really loved it. It was really, really good, and I'm so thankful that I got to watch it again.
To my demographic, guys, become good friends with Janet's daughter and have her send photos of Janet dancing on the sofa, and you'll have happiness.
Oh, I did. I was dancing. I was thinking about that "Shake Your Tail Feather" song, and I was like, I cannot wait to get my music in so I can dance in my office to that again.
Janet had to shake a tail feather.
Yeah, it's a good song. It was a really good song. It's very upbeat. It's fun. It's got everything that I like, and I'm probably going to put a bunch of Blues Brothers songs in my Discord tomorrow. So, because I don't know if Kronos has even seen this movie.
Kronos should see this movie, and if not, we'll have to set him up with a link.
As much as he likes music, I think he would really, really enjoy it. This is a movie right up his alley, I think.
Next week on this show, actually, Janet, what is your rating for this movie? Is it a perfect 10 or is it like a...
I would say, God, this is closest. This is as good for a comedy musical. I would have to give it a solid 9 for sure. This is like one of the highest rated movies besides Tombstone that I could give, because it's just got so much talent. It's just filled with classic wonders. You know what I mean? It's just, you can't even put your finger on it. There's so many good things in this movie. But the best thing about this movie is the classic music. The music is upbeat, fun, entertaining. You can't sleep through this movie. This is not a movie that you're going to go to the movie theater and wake up at the end when the credits are rolling. It's just not a movie for that. Unless you're, sniffing cocaine. Guess cocaine.
No, I would say heroin.
Okay, I was gonna say, I didn't think you could sleep if you did cocaine, but it's just not a movie that you can sleep through. It's just got so much packed into it that's fun. It's just a fun, overall fun movie, and I think it's fun for men and women. I mean, this is not a straight down the line woman's movie or straight down the line man movie, because it's got stuff for everybody in it. If you love music and you love classic rhythm and blues and stuff, this movie's for you for sure. It's a really, really good movie. It's got comedy in it. It's got great actors in it. And the scenery's great. Not so much if you like, like hills and valleys and trees and birds and things like that. But if you like city skyscrapers and things like that, it's perfect. And lots of car chases. I mean, I was just shocked how many wrecks are in this movie, but it was really good. I really recommend seeing it.
So this is about the best that 1980 would have for us until Empire Strikes Back came out later on.
Yep.
And that, I believe, came out after this. But this was the 10th highest grossing film in America that year.
It was good. I can see why. It had, I could see old people watching this, teenagers watching it, college age people, married couples, all of them enjoying this movie. I just don't see why you wouldn't. Unless you hate music.
I need to excuse myself for about 3 minutes. I'm going to bring you back full screen.
Uh-oh. What am I going to talk about? I'm finished. And I haven't seen Animal House yet. So I'm excited about watching Animal House. I haven't seen it. And it's got John Belushi in it. So hopefully it'll be good and be entertaining for me. Have any of you guys seen it? Because I haven't. Kronos, have you seen it? Animal House? Nobody's talking in the chat. I guess my sister left. Whenever I hear anything about Pee Wee Herman, all I can think of is the Family Guy Star Wars trilogy. I don't know. I guess I didn't see that episode of Family Guy. Every time I think of Pee Wee Herman, the only thing I think about is him being kicked out of a porn movie theater or something for playing with himself. So that's the only thing I remember about Pee Wee Herman. Because I don't remember him making very much movies or anything after that. So that pretty much ruined his career, I think. Oh, you guys are funny. It's nice to be able to read the chat in front of me now that Bruce finally showed me how to do that. None lives matter. That's funny. Haven't seen Animal House in decades. I've never seen it, Bowsette. So I'm going to get to see it for my first time for next week. Not a big Belushi fan. Samurai Night Fever was his best work. I don't know if I saw that one. I saw Animal House. Watch it. You'll most likely enjoy it, Janet. I think I'll enjoy it. I mean, hopefully I will. We'll see. I haven't liked some of Bruce's choices, but we'll see if I like this one. Janet, a review you and Bruce should do is the Family Guy Star Wars trilogy. You will laugh every single body part off. Oh, I will. I never heard of that. I've never heard of the Star Wars trilogy with the Family Guy. I don't remember ever hearing about it. So it's weird how I've missed so much stuff. But it was a skit. Mystery Men was a good movie. It was a skit on Saturday Night Live. Oh, I don't remember that either. So sorry, Kronos, I'm not pulling your finger. That is not going to happen. But man, this turned out pretty good for something I threw together in just a short amount of time. I think it was fun. And this, because I made this. It's this, it's hard to see because it's black, but I sewed all of it so I could wear it and made this little scarf and then made the black part over the top. Samurai Delicatessen. I remember that. He was also the samurai tailor too, because he would take his sword out and chop a piece of material a few times and he would have a suit. I remember that. I've seen a couple of things like that on TV. Let's see. Samurai Night Fever was a skit. I'll have to look that up. And then Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I was talking to Bruce about maybe thinking that we could do a series, like a TV series, and doing one episode a week and talking about it. The only thing is it's got to be something we'd both be interested in watching. And a few of the things I brought up, he didn't seem too happy about my choice. So maybe if you guys keep throwing stuff at him, he'll pick something that might be good. I don't know, because he's the boss, because this is his channel. So some vampires don't care about crosses. Well, I know that. Maybe I want to get bit on the neck. Just kidding. Janet, I just realized what your real life character class would be is a mimic. Every time you put on a different outfit, you get the abilities of the class associated with that outfit. Wow, that's a pretty cool. That would be a good superhero, because then you could dress up as anything you want. Except, would you want me to dress up as a furry? I don't know if you guys know what a furry is, but I wouldn't want to dress up as one. And then someone said Faulty Towers. Is that a movie? Pulp Fiction or Fight Club? Ooh, those are both good. Even Kill Bill. That's another movie I was thinking about. I've been thinking about that for the last couple of days. There's two of them. They're pretty good and full of action. And they can't say anything about not having women that kick butt, because these women kick butt and the movie was still entertaining. They didn't have to make up stuff like that. You dress up as a furry and I'm out. Yeah, me too. I'd be out because I'm not doing it. Oh, hey, Woke Breaker. Nice to see you.
How you doing?
Yeah, somebody said something about me that I could dress up in different characters and have those abilities, almost like a superhero. And I said, yeah, wouldn't that be great if I dressed up as a furry?
No.
But I was just kidding, because I wouldn't do it. Mm-mm.
Hell, good spirit, Woke Breaker.
I don't do that stuff. Yes, I'm boring like that. TV series, Brit humor. And notice I added the U for effect. Yes, I see that.
Janet, do you have anything you want to add before we start tearing down tonight?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. It seems like I've done nothing but gab my head off and interrupted you through the whole thing. So maybe I should let you have the last word.
Well, want you guys to understand that there are things in this world we don't have any control over. That doesn't mean you get frustrated and lash out at other people. The best thing you can do is just be patient and watch things unfold. And for those of you that understand what I'm about to say, for those of you that don't understand what I'm about to say, I know this won't go over good with you, and I'm not going to care. You don't have any other choice. You just got to put it in God's hands, and that's not always going to work in your favor. There's an entire book of the Bible called the Thessalonians, where it was written by an aggrieved people that weren't getting their way. And every time I start feeling like shit because I'm not getting my way, like right now, I have to go to that damn book, and it kind of pisses me off, but it gets me back to my spot. And I just want you to tell you that you got a choice. You can either be an idiot, lash out, and get in trouble and have more problems, or you can just wait things out and let things kind of die down. And it's nothing you ever want is going to be easy. So just understand that. Janet dressing up like a nun tonight was great, and I appreciate her doing that. I appreciate her being the other half of this stream. It's great, and she doesn't question me whenever I have to take off. Usually get Chinese, or tonight the wife was getting ready for bed, so I wanted a couple of minutes with her just to give her a hug and let her know I cared for her. She's doing her thing for the entire night, and then she's like, "I'm going to bed." Okay, cool. So we have a very important stream next week on Monday night. It'll be Janet's first exposure to Animal House. I want you guys all to show up in togas. And
togas. Oh, wow. We're going to wear togas for the show?
I'll do what I can. Being a poor miniature gamer, I
haven't been to a toga party in forever. And the last time I went, I wore Mickey Mouse ears, and I had Mickey Mouse toga and stuff with, Minnie and Mickey Mouse on it. I made it as some sheets. It was fun.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the movie The Blues Brothers yet, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to get you a link for it. I know that if you do a search on Bing, look for the one that's like about 2 hours and 10 minutes long without the dollar sign by it. If it has a dollar sign, you got to pay for it, but it might be available for free on Hulu. I don't know, but it's worth your time. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's number 4 on my list, I believe. And
would we be able to set it up to where we could watch Animal House on Sunday or something on Discord, and let whoever's interested come and watch it with us?
Yeah.
Could we do that?
Either of our Discords, look for the guy, a girl in a movie, or girl, a guy in a movie, and just put your name in there, and we'll reach you, and we'll set up the stream. It'll be Sunday post about 6 o'clock, 6 to 6:30 Sunday night. We'll be doing that.
That'd be fun. But I'll have to have my mic turned off because I'll talk through the whole thing.
Look at our first experience with Janet screen talking. Oh boy.
You've experienced me doing it, and I do talk a lot. I can't help it. It's like my brain just doesn't think about other people. It just gets into whatever's going on. And that's just how I enjoy movies.
And people, there's really nothing super wrong with my life. I mean, I can't complain about things. What I'm talking about, I'm talking about the situation in Austin. There's a kid that he shot another person with an AK in the middle of a street during a protest, and
that was today.
No, that was in 2020. Oh. And they found him guilty, even though the stand your ground laws were being abided by, and the kid's livelihood and health was threatened. He was surrounded by a bunch of people in a car. We talked about it last night on stream, and Some people are familiar with the Garrett Foster versus Daniel Perry case.
Mm-hmm.
So Daniel Perry looks like he's going to be getting his sentencing here pretty soon. Greg Abbott, the Governor Wheels has said that we are going to want to expedite his recommendation for parole or for pardon.
Yeah.
So you're seeing this already spill out this way. I don't feel like we're going to get justice being served. I'm not upset about Garrett Foster being shot. I've yet to find anything redeemable about this guy. He was an Air Force vet. I understand that, but that doesn't mean he was automatically a good man. He's marching
No.
around Austin being an idiot with his wheelchair girlfriend. Like this guy found like all the check marks in one girlfriend. She's black, handicapped, and she's a non-binary. So anyway, before that night was over, he was dead because he ran up to a car that was being surrounded by other people, and he had his AK-47 at a low ready, and he got capped. He had 3 bullets hit him. 3 more bullets were exchanged from somebody else in the crowd to Daniel Perry's car, and I don't think Perry's getting off. Anyway, I want to see you guys here next Monday. If you have any questions, reach us on Discord. Janet, would you like to lead us out?
Trying to think. I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay. Well, if you want to come to my channel, I'm trying to remember, probably tomorrow, hopefully, get to read some more of my story. And I haven't done it in a couple weeks, or about 4 weeks, which is terrible. But now that I'm getting a little better at understanding how to use things and what things mean, what the buttons mean, stuff. It's different doing it on my computer compared to using my phone and then posting a video. So I'm trying to learn how to do all that stuff. But I'm going to be doing that. And then I think Drew's stuff is going to be paused for a little bit because we have him in the middle of moving and stuff. So I don't know how all that stuff's going to work out because I think he's in a hotel. And then I do my shorts. I'm going to be posting, little shorts here and there, depending on what's going on in my life or whatever, or what, makes what I think about. Sometimes I make sad ones. Sometimes I make funny ones. Sometimes I make just fun ones. So hopefully you'll come and check out my shorts.
Fair enough. Everybody, thank you for being part of us tonight. A lot of you have been here since the start of it. I don't have anything but gratitude and a humble man's thanks.
And thank you for coming to and see us every week, even though we're just 2 people who enjoy movies and like to talk about it.
Thank you. And everybody, good night.